What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Today we have another live stream for you guys today. We're going to be talking about Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Ezekiel Elliott, and others. June 1st was yesterday, so these players are eligible to be cut now. You can see a lot of these guys either getting cut tonight maybe, or going into the weekend, or maybe into next week. Also, we'll talk about DeAndre Hopkins and what exactly is going on with him. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this. We're also going to be doing puppy drafts. The puppy 2 just came out last night, I believe. It could have been like early this morning, but I mean, obviously I have already done a couple at work. I think I did a couple at like 1 or 2 in the morning. So those drafts are out there right now. Those are the cheap ones. The puppy ones are the $5 ones on Underdog Fantasy Football. So those are the cheap ones. Those are the cheap ones for those of you guys out there that are interested in that. And if you guys want to play alongside me, alongside other people, you'll go to underdogfantasyfootball.com and you can do, you'll basically create an account. If you don't already have one, they will match up to $100 as long as you deposit $10 or more. They will, if it's your first deposit, they will match up to $100 if you use promo code. I don't have a promo code. I can give you guys a promo code. Promo code would be Smitty, SMITTY. He's another fantasy football streamer. He makes really good content, and he goes live pretty much every day. He goes live way more often than I do. He is sponsored by them. If you use his name, Smitty, SMITTY, they will match up to $100 on your first deposit. After you deposit once, then they don't really match after that. But for your first deposit, first time users, they will match that deposit for you guys. So let's get into a draft. We'll just talk about Cook and Mixon and Zeke. Obviously there's other players out there as well. We can talk Hopkins as well. I believe Cook is probably, if I had to guess, Cook is going to be gone here in I would say about a weekend. I would say by Sunday at the latest. Maybe it goes into next week, but I think Cook is a for sure out. Zeke is already basically designated to be cut. So that should come down, that should basically come down the pipe here pretty soon. But that's something we kind of already figured. We already knew Zeke was not going to be, basically, the Cowboys were not going to hang on to him. Now, there's a chance he could obviously go sign somewhere else. There's a chance that the Cowboys could re-sign him, in my opinion. I don't think it's out of the question. He definitely could do that. I think, he's going to have to come back for $1-2 million. Maybe even less than that. Who knows? They might sign him to like $1 million, like somewhere between 1 and 2. They might put other incentives in his contract. Maybe if he scores X amount of touchdowns to give him a little bit more of a pay raise, but don't expect any kind of big time money, obviously. And he's not going to get it from anybody. So there is a chance, though. You still got Leonard Fournette out there. You got Kareem Hunt out there. You have, you obviously have other players at other positions as well. But as far as the running backs go, I think, look, the Cowboys are going to have to do something. I think for right now, they're talking about Cook going to Miami, maybe a sign and trade. Maybe for him to just, get cut and then go out and explore free agency wherever he wants to go. I see really the Dolphins and the Cowboys as the top options. Maybe you could throw in Denver as well. So the Broncos, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, really those are teams that are in the market for a running back. They're in the market for a little bit of like insurance, a little bit of help, you know, in terms of the running back goes. With the Broncos, Javonte's not going to be ready week 1. Okay, I really don't believe he is. I know they're saying he looks good and he's looking better. That he might be ready to go for training camp, or what. I just don't see him. I don't see him being ready to go week 1. I don't really see him being ready to go until like halfway through the season, to be honest. And you know, people can disagree with that. They can be like, "Oh no, he's gonna, you know, he this is what they said he's gonna play." Look, he's coming back from a multiple ligament knee injury. We've looked at Barkley 2 years ago. We look at Dobbins last year. They weren't ready to come back. They weren't ready to come back whenever they came back the following season after their injury. And nothing's going to change that. You know, I don't think Javonte is an outlier or something amongst those guys. I mean, he had a horrible knee injury. It was way worse than Breece Hall. And he's not going to be ready to go. There's a reason why they gave P. Ryan like a $7 million contract, I believe. I think it was $7 million for. Let me double check it. I don't think it might have been $7 million for the year. P. Ryan is one of the highest paid running backs in the league. He's one of the highest paid backup running backs in the league. Samaje P. Ryan is. Came over from the Cincinnati Bengals. P. Ryan's going to play an effective role in this offense, especially if. Look, man, I really hope the best for Javonte. I had him in fantasy last year. He got hurt on me. It was horrible. This is why you can't trust Google, dude. I'm looking at his. All right, so it was a 2-year, $7.5 million, but he's still one of the highest paid backup running backs. Look at this crap. Can you guys see this? It says he signed a 2-year, $1.38 contract with the Dolphins. He don't even play for the Dolphins. Google is freaking. You know what that is? Look at this. Let me show this to you guys. I can't believe this is the first thing that comes up. Let me show this to you guys. Damn thing. Yeah. Look at this. You guys see this crap? Peter signed a 2-year. $1.38 million with the Miami Dolphins, including an annual average annual salary in 2023. This is, bro. That's not. He didn't even play for that team. He doesn't even play for that team. You know what that is? You guys know what that is?
You are fake news.
That's fake news. It's this one down here though. 2-year, $7.5 million contract with the Broncos. $3 million signing bonus. So P. Ryan is going to be very see, this was what they must refer to this. This was the. Why does it say? This was his Dolphins contract back like 4 years ago. Listen, P. Ryan is very, very good, by the way. He's very good. He's better than a lot of people think. He was highly, and like, listen whenever I say this, highly efficient last year. Okay? In the limited touches that he got with Cincinnati, very efficient. He's still, I know he's a little older. He's roughly, he's been Joe Mixon's backup for the most part of his career. You go back to college, they were Oklahoma guys. So he's always been kind of like the backup for Mixon. Mixon's always kind of, he's always been in Mixon's shadow for the most part through college, through the NFL. There's a good chance he sees a pretty good work share of touches, of volume, and just really efficient touches if Javonte's not ready to go. And Javonte's not going to be ready to go. They're going to limit Javonte. I hope they limit him, because if not, there's a good chance he's going to re-aggravate that knee, and that knee that he has. And I know Javante's young still. Obviously, Breece Hall is very young. You know, Dobbins was, you know, he's still young, really. You know, he was dealing with his knee injury last year. But Dobbins came back. Let me see if I can. Let me pull this up here. Dobbins came back. I'm trying to think of what week he aggravated it. And I think Dobbins will be ready to go this year. Okay, Dobbins had to get through last year just like Barkley had to get through the year 2 years ago. And then he came into last season and was able, you know, was fully, you know, full go. Came back, was about a top 5 RB in fantasy football. And then, you know, maybe we could see the same thing for Dobbins this year. Who knows? But, you know, let's find Dobbins. And I think Dobbins is a very good, he could be a very good running back this year. He could be a very good running back this year. But we look, Dobbins came back week 3. He came back week 3. Missed the first 2 games. They held him out. He was not ready to go. Okay? He was not ready to go the first 2 weeks. Then he came back and played week 3. 7 carries for 23 yards, 2 catches. Week 4, you know, okay, so week 3 he had 5 fantasy points. Week 4, 20 fantasy points. He played 50% of the snaps, 13 carries for 41 yards. So he wasn't very efficient. You know, the first 2 weeks he came back. Maybe that was the offensive line or whatever. He did rush for a touchdown. He had 4 catches on 4 targets, 22 yards, and he also caught a touchdown. So pretty good week. And that, you know, that was against Buffalo. Week 5, Cincinnati, 40%, 8 carries for 44 yards. You know, 5.5 a carry, not too bad. But, you know, he was limited. And then week 6 at the Giants, he was very limited. I think this is where he kind of re-aggravated his knee. Only played 27% of the snaps, 7 carries for 15 yards. And then, you know, you know, there was a 43, 50, 40 snap percentage, and then it went down below 30. I believe he came out of that game. He re-aggravated his knee, and then he missed 1, 2, 3 plus the bye. That would be 4, 6, 7. Yeah, 5, 6, 7. So he missed the next 7 weeks. One of those was the bye week. He missed the next 7 weeks because he re-aggravated that knee. He needed more time off. He said, "Okay, I gotta, you know, like, look, it was basically swelling up, inflamed, because these guys come back too early, and I understand why. You know, they're coming back earlier than what they used to, because obviously for the most part, the medical procedures are better. You know, doctors are, you know, obviously the technology in the medical field is better, so that also helps these guys come back a little quicker. But they also come back ahead of schedule, or they come back too early because, you know, the best ability is availability in the NFL, and if you're not available, you can slide down the depth chart real quick. You can even slide off the roster. You know, so these guys want to get back because they're only going to be young and explosive, especially at the running back position. They're only going to be young and explosive for so long. And this guy's 24. I believe he'll be 25 this year. I'd have to pull up my list of the age, but it says on here he's 24, so that means he should be turning like 25 probably this year. So he's still in his prime for the most part, but last year would have been a prime year for him as well. Prime years for running backs are year 2 through like 4 or 5 for the most part. The rookie year, you know, you can maybe count the rookie year for some people, for some particular running backs, the ones that are really good, that like Barkley, who was out of the gate really, really good. But, you know, this is what I worry about with Javonte, though. Javonte had a multiple ligament knee injury, just like Dobbins did. We've seen what happened with Dobbins. We've seen what happened with Barkley a couple years ago. Let's go back and look at Barkley from 2 years ago, because Barkley was coming off the same thing. So we go back and look at Barkley's 2021 season. He started off slow the first 2 weeks, had a decent week 3, week 4, And then week 5 he re-aggravated it, played 9% of snaps. Week 6, week 7, week 8, week 9, and then week 10, the bye week, he sat out those weeks because he re-aggravated the knee. The knee was swelling up because it's not ready to go. That's what happens. And these guys don't really know how their knee is until they actually get into a football game, until they get into a real football game. They don't know how their knee is. They can say it's looking good, he looks healthy, he's doing this, he looks explosive, but until that knee starts to make some game time cuts and it ends up taking a couple of hits, he takes some real hits in game time moments. He's taking hits on that knee, he's taking hits to his lower body when he's being tackled. That's how they're gonna, that they really don't know until that happens. They don't know how good that knee is until that knee, really just their body in general, but the knee especially, once it starts to take a little bit of a beating of cutting, jumping over defenders, taking hits whenever they're being tackled. They don't know when the knee's gonna be ready. And so going back to these running backs, I don't want to go off on a Javonte tangent here, but Pirine, really, in my opinion, I wouldn't be shocked if the Broncos went out and maybe got another running back to back up Pirine. I don't think Javonte's going to be ready to go, and if he comes back week 2, week 3, or whatever, if say he misses week 1 or 2, and then say he comes back week 3, kind of like what these guys were doing for the most part. There's a chance by week 5 or week 6 you see Javonte kind of leave the field. You see him maybe miss 5 or 6 games, just like Barkley, just like Dobbins. I just went over it. And it's a very similar situation that he has to what Barkley had 2 years ago and what Dobbins had last year. So we look at that, and this is why I'm stating what I'm stating right now. This is why we're talking about this. So maybe Cook, maybe they go get Cook, maybe they go get Zeke, or maybe they go get Fournette or Kareem Hunt. Those guys are still out there. They're still free agents. Cook is obviously designated probably to be cut or be traded here. Probably, I would say inside the weekend. Maybe it goes into next week, but it will happen in my opinion eventually. So Cook is the one guy out there that I'm like I'm almost 100% sure on that he will be gone. I'm about 99% sure. Mixon now. Let's go to Mixon. Mixon is another story. Joe Mixon, we thought was going to be designated to be cut. That could be a little bit different. Obviously, a couple days ago, head coach Zach Taylor had basically come out and commented and said Joe Mixon's likely to stay with the Bengals, that he's their guy. We've also seen reports of maybe him, teams being interested in Mixon as well. So he is a candidate to be cut potentially. It does, how much does Zach Taylor's comments, how much weight does it have to it? It's got a decent amount of weight because he is the head coach. At the same time, he's not the GM, but I was hoping Mixon would get cut because I have a lot of shares of Chase Brown in these drafts and everything. So I was actually kind of hoping that maybe they would cut him. Not because I don't want him to have a job or anything, but just it would maybe, benefit my shares of Chase Brown. The thing about it is even if Mixon got cut, I think there's a very good chance that the Bengals would bring somebody in. I don't know how much, you know what I mean? I know they got 4 running backs on the roster. They got Travion Williams. They have Chase Brown as the backup right now. And then they also, I believe they still have Chris Evans, I believe. I'm not totally sure. I'd have to, let me double check. But I still think they would bring another player in because those other two guys, they're not much. If they just had Chase Brown and then Williams and Evans behind him, something just tells me they would go get another running back. So yeah, that is the case. They got Mixon, Chase Brown, Travion Williams, and Chris Evans. Chris Evans is the 4th string. Williams is the 3rd string. If Mixon was to get cut, if he were to get cut, we're looking at maybe Kareem Hunt coming in, Leonard Fournette, Zeke, even one of these bigger backs that's out there. I wouldn't be shocked if they went out and got somebody like that. Now, this all just may be, smoke, basically. A smoke screen for the most part. This, it sounds like Mixon's gonna stay, and it seemed like, he was trending to get cut, and then now it's like a couple days ago, Taylor comes out, basically says that, this is their guy. So Mixon is not the youngest running back by any means. He's very much in that Dalvin Cook. He's in the Dalvin Cook category, so to speak. So how many years does he have left? I don't know. Can he be super efficient this year? Potentially, he could still be efficient. I don't know how much volume is going to be there. It's going to be decent volume if he stays in Cincinnati, but how efficient is he? We don't know. Mixon is going to be 27 this year, and I know that's not quite as old as like, you got guys like Aaron Jones, 28, Nick Chubb, 20, or no, Aaron Jones will be 29, Nick Chubb will be 28, Henry will obviously be 30. He's old. Cook is a year older, 28. But with that being said, even though Cook is like a year older, I think Mixon has been in the league just as much. He's been in the league for just as long as Cook. Mixon is going into year number 7 as a running back, okay? Let's not get it twisted. I mean, although he is only going to be 27 this year, he still has had... This will be year number 7. Okay, this isn't year 4 or year 5 or 6. This is year 7 coming up for Mixon. Cook is also going into year 7. So they were, I thought they were drafted the same year. They've been in the league the same amount of time. Cook's just a year older because he was, he came out of college a year older. So I think Mixon, for the most part, especially if he gets cut, do not draft him at all. I don't care where he goes. I don't care where he goes. He'd have to go to a really special place. There's only a couple out there. I'm not enthused about Mixon at all, to be honest, even if he stays on the Bengals. We look at last year. Obviously, he had that 55-point game, but look, man. And I know he's got good receiving ability out of the backfield. I'm worried about his health. I'm worried if he can stay injury-free. He did miss a couple games last year. You look at these snap percentages, and it definitely declined after the beginning of the season. 73%, 76, 66, 83, 70, 72, 72, 72, 65. So that was the first 9 weeks. That's not bad. That's very good snap percentage for a running back. That's not terrible at all. But then then they had a bye. He came back from the bye. I believe he got hurt this game. He missed time. So he got hurt against Pittsburgh. Only played 21% of the snaps, I believe. Pretty sure he missed some of that game. And then he missed the next 2 weeks against Tennessee, at Kansas City. He comes back week 14. And so these are his snap percentages. Obviously, we won't even include the Buffalo game, week 17. But Cleveland, it was 58%. At Tampa Bay, it was 64. At New England, 59. Obviously, the Buffalo game, week 17. And then week 18 at Baltimore, or at home against Baltimore, only 55%. So 58, 59, 55, 64. That's like high 50s, low 60% of the snap share, whereas at the beginning, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There was at least 7 games that he was 70% or better in snap percentage. So, you know, the snap percentage just came down. Whether or not that was due to the health, maybe that was due to, you know, we could maybe argue like last week. Really, they were actually playing Baltimore. They didn't really rest anybody, Baltimore. So I wouldn't even blame the 55% snap percentages on resting. They didn't rest him week 18 against Baltimore. They were playing to I believe, to make sure they had home field in the playoffs there that game. So look, man, I don't know how much of Mixon I like. I don't really like him too much, to be honest. He would have to go somewhere that's got a very dynamic offense. It's very, very good in order for me to maybe take a chance on him. I don't think he goes late enough in drafts either, so that's kind of a non-starter for me as well. If you guys are wondering why you guys never see me take him, that is why, for the most part. Let me adjust this real quick. We're gonna jump into a draft right now. We can, you know, if you guys have any questions, let me know. We'll chime in. You know, I'll chime on. I'll basically chime in on pretty much whatever you guys want. Doesn't have to be these guys. Obviously, we're gonna know more here within the coming hours, maybe tonight, and obviously throughout the weekend. Gosh, I'm forgetting my controls here. Okay, there we go. Forgetting my controls. Just gonna fill up the whole screen here. All right. Let's see how this looks. We'll adjust as we go. So here's the puppy 2 right here. Like I said, use promo code SMITTY, SMITTY. They will match up to $100 on your first deposit if you are a new user for this website. You know, for this site to draft on Underdog. If you are a new account, it will match up to $100. I think the minimum deposit is 10. I believe it's got to be 10 or more for them to match that with the promo code. Use promo code SMITTY, SMITTY. He will be obviously greatly appreciated of that. I don't mind giving out his promo code. You know, he's a good guy. I follow his fantasy show. I watch him a lot, and then I also try to do my own stuff here as much as I can. Obviously, working 5 days a week, it's not as easy, but you know. Let's jump into one here. We're waiting on 5 people here. I need to see what the I'm just gonna put the whole board up. As far as Zeke goes, we haven't really talked about Zeke too much. I don't know, man. I don't know about Zeke. I just think he goes back to Dallas for the most part. I could see Cook with really Miami, Dallas, or Denver. Trying to think of maybe some other spots outside. Maybe I would say no, they're not really an option. They're mine. I was gonna say maybe the Raiders, but the Raiders, there's no chance. There's no chance actually. All right, we're starting here in 30 seconds. We have pick number 4. That's a little unfortunate, not super unfortunate, but it's a little bit unfortunate. All right, now let's adjust this. These guys are drafting quick. You guys are drafting quick on me. Oh, we're on the clock. So Jefferson, Chase, Tyreek Hill went. I've taken this guy a couple times. We're gonna take him again. We're gonna go Cooper Kupp here. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just adjusting this real quick. Of course, I say real quick, and it's not cooperating with me here. I know why it's a little weird. It's because I got a 19 by 20 monitor here, and then I got a 1440 over here. So I got a 1080p and a 1440 over here. This is why it's all messed up. I know it's got to be the reason. All right, make the camera a little bit smaller. I don't need to be quite all over the place. We'll go over here, down in the corner. Put me in the corner. Okay. So McCaffrey, Kelsey, Diggs, Eckler, Brown, Bijan went 10. So Bijan's starting to kind of fall a little bit. Obviously, except for the drafts that that I'm with Smitty in. Obviously, he goes like top 6 almost every time. This is the second draft I've done in a row where Bijan's fallen down to like the 10 spot. I think that's a little bold, but it's good for this guy for sure. So I changed the table. The table's over here now, and then the wall is the background now. The table used to be right here, and I would be looking that way. So we've done a little bit of rearranging here in this room for, just for sake of maybe a better background for me, so you guys aren't looking at my closet and my wall, my other stuff here. But this is a little bit better of a background for me, I feel like. So that's why I kind of made the adjustments. A lot of this stuff is really my wife's stuff, so she like collects all this crap, but it's a good background. I'll probably start hanging some jerseys. Maybe I'll hang a jersey maybe behind me here. You might look up, you guys can't really see above to the walls much, but Yeah, I'm looking to get a few more jerseys that I got a Kelsey jersey in the closet. It's really kind of, it's my Super Bowl jersey from a few years ago. The one that they lost, obviously. What are we gonna do here? I don't really want to give out my strategy. I want to get stream sniped, really, but let's go with that. Let's do that. Boom. So I hate how I cannot see the chat. All right, so we are next. I'm looking at my board right here, and he would take Olave. Okay, so Cooper Kupp has bye week. Cooper Kupp has bye week 10. I'm gonna take a chance. I haven't taken this guy. I will. I'll take him. I don't feel the greatest about him. I wish he was like in round 3, maybe, like a mid to end of the round 3 type of pick, but he's not, obviously. That means we will go get Jerome Ford no matter what, obviously. This is literally the first time I've ever drafted Chubb, so I'm going to take Chubb here. I do think, this is my opinion, and there's all kinds of strategies. I know Smitty was talking about it on his show the other day. We've talked about strategies. We've had, I've called into this, his show. We've had other people call into his show talking about strategies. And I don't mind, if so you got a top 3 or top 4 pick, okay? We're talking Jefferson, Chase, we're talking Tyreek Cup. We're talking about an elite receiver right here, like super elite. I don't really know, I don't know how much I like Tyreek Hill. If I had to make a tiers category, which I do have a tiers category, I don't know if I like Tyreek Hill in this top 1 tier. I know he's good, but his situation's a little different than these other 3 guys, in my opinion. Just a little different. And let's just say if all 4 of these guys were in the tier 1 category, I think Tyreek Hill would be at the back. He would be at the bottom of the list. All right, we're on the clock again. Let's go. I'm gonna do this. I want to take Stevenson, but I'm gonna go Brees. Let's just put it this way: when you're in the top 4, top 3, and you get basically one of these elite, this is if you don't go running back with your top 3 pick. If you go receiver, if you go elite receiver, I think you have to go running back the next 2 picks. I think it's the better option because, and really, you can get lucky. It really depends on what draft you're in and who's drafting and what happens. Obviously, you're gonna have to adjust as it goes. But if you don't take running back the next 2 picks, and I don't care who you take, you could take a combination of any of them. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, that guy's garbage or that guy sucks or why would you take him? I mean, all these guys that are here round 2, round 3, roughly, they are pretty good running backs for the most part, and they all have an avenue. Every single one of them has an avenue to be in top 5. It's all about really just figuring out which one that is and taking gambles and, believing what you believe. I like Chubb to a degree. I worry about him because of what happened with Deshaun Watson whenever he came in. He's a little bit older now. I know Kareem Hunt's gone and everything. He only catches like 20, and on average, 23 catches a year. That's not the greatest, obviously. But if running backs start flying off the board, which so far in this draft they have not. Stevenson went 32. There's a problem with that. He should have went before. If running backs start flying off the board though, and you didn't take a running back, like say you're right here. Say you are, let me use my mouse. Say you are here in the 4 spot or the 3 spot, and you only took 1 running back. If they start flying off the board from here to here, you are going to get, I wouldn't say you're going to get screwed, but you are behind the 8 ball. You're behind the 8 ball at that point. And there are some good running backs that you can get here in round 4, 5, and 6. There are. But there's definitely a tier difference between some of these guys and then guys like Chubb, Breece Hall, Stevenson, Jacobs, Gibbs, Henry, Pollard, all these guys. I just think that I think you need to go running 2 running backs here. Like this guy right here, I have no idea what the hell this is. I just seen this. Jefferson, Hurts, Allen. I have no idea what the hell this is. Maybe he's just trying something. 2 elite quarterbacks, an elite receiver. He's going to be hurting on running back though, because I'm going to take another running back right here, more than likely. There goes another running back. So we're looking at Najee Harris, that's left on the board. You got Walker, Jones, Dobbins, Mixon, Sanders, Pierce. I'm taking one of those guys, more than likely, with one of my picks. I kind of have a very similar draft going on right now. What I have, you know, in one of Smitty's drafts or whatever. I believe it's the Garrett Wilson draft or whatever. I have a very similar draft because I also had the 4 spot and I took Cup. Of course, I think I got Najee Harris and who did I take? I took Najee and somebody else. All right, we're on the clock here. So, did Burrow already go? Yeah, he just went. Okay. I don't think he's gonna take my running back. I think my running back will be there. So I'm gonna go London here. I'll probably try to go. I'm not even gonna say what I'm gonna go. How many people are in here? Not many. Okay, I'll probably go Deshaun Watson, more than likely at quarterback here. It'll be tough to pass up on Herbert and Lawrence, though. Very, very tough to pass up on one of those guys here. But the running backs are getting very scarce. This guy got Najee Harris with the 40th pick. This is insane that they let this happen right here. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of them letting that happen, really. Really am kind of glad this guy took Burrow. I had a draft last night. The first draft I did last night, the guy in the 2nd spot got Chase, got Higgins, got Burrow. He stacked. He stacked like everything. Okay, so this guy did not take my running back. Walker is there. That's tough. That's tough that Walker is there. What bye weeks do I got? 7 and 5. This guy's 7. This guy's 5. I'm going to go Dobbins then. I would go Pierce, but I'm going to go Dobbins. He has a different bye week than those two, so I like having 3 running backs. It is tough when you have your top 2, or if you have 2 of your top 3 running backs with the same bye, so I want to make sure they don't have the same bye. None of them do, so a little bit more, diversity in bye weeks. Lawrence just went before Herbert. That's pretty remarkable. Alpha Omega will definitely take, without a doubt, Alpha Omega will take Herbert if he's there, and he is. So here comes Herbert with the next pick. He's got Keenan Allen and Eckler to stack with, and Ramondre and Smith. That's a very good team. It's decent. I don't know how much I like Keenan Allen. I would, in all honesty, I would rather have Mike Williams. That's just me, but that's kind of pick your poison with who you think's going to get injured. Just take Herbert, dude. A free pick. It's free. There you go. Good job. Let's give him a round of applause for that. Let's give him a round of applause for that. It was very good. I'm still in a couple of drafts right now with Smitty and some of the other guys who watch his channel and follow him. We're in a couple of slow drafts right now, so and they're really still going on. I don't know when they're going to be done, but we've only made it to like round 5 for the most part in both of them. Like round 4, round 5 so far. I think the one's like a 10-hour, the other's an 8-hour between every pick. So I made a couple of picks today already. Oh man. All right, so anything crazy here? So Mixon, Sanders. This is pretty good so far. What's happening? Obviously we're waiting on quarterback. I think I have to wait on quarterback now. All the quarterbacks that have went. So we're talking Hurts, Mahomes, Allen, Fields. That's 4, and then Burrow, Lamar, Herbert, and Lawrence. These are the, I don't want to call them the hateful 8, but these are the big 8. This is the big 8 right here. These 8 quarterbacks, in my opinion, are the big 8. You don't get one of these guys. If you do not get one of these guys, you wait. You wait on quarterback. That is my wholeheartedly, you know, that is my opinion on going quarterback. If you don't get one of these 8 guys, you just need to wait. Really, in terms of fantasy, I think these 8, for the most part, if you don't have one, I don't know if you can win if you don't have one of these 8, to be honest. And I'm not saying that to be, you know, to downgrade some of these other quarterbacks that are still out there. There's decent quarterbacks that are out there, but if you get somebody, the good news about this draft is that they all went in round 5 or earlier. You start letting Herbert or Lawrence fall to round 6, that's where people can win. That's where people can exploit that and build a roster and build a very winnable roster. This is very tough now. My guys are getting snagged left and right from me. I'm getting sniped. I'm glad I went and got London whenever I did. I wanted Deontay Johnson, Marquise Brown, and Pierce. All 3 of these guys I was wanting. All 3 of these guys I was wanting. And Addison now. So, you know, we're getting down to the cream of the crop here. This is tough. These guys are flying off the board. No tight end was taken. I'm gonna take a chance here. This is a risk. There is a receiver on the board that I want. I'm not gonna say exactly who it is. There's a receiver on the board that I want though. We're gonna go Swift because I want another running back. I wanted Pierce. Swift is not a bad option though here in round 6, and as a 4th running back. We will go with the receiver next. I'm hoping he doesn't get snagged. It's looking like it might happen though. It's looking like it might happen. Of course, Watson's there as well. I was talking about wanting to, you know, Deshaun Watson potentially. When we do have Chubb, we don't really have any of the receivers to go with Watson yet, so it's not the worst case scenario if we don't get him. This guy needs to get a running back. There you go. Take Pacheco. Take Cook. Take Cook. Or Madison. I'll laugh if he takes Cook. I'm surprised Cook's ADP isn't higher than 73, to be honest. Go down here a little bit. Let's just look at the ADPs are the ADPs have changed since the last time we drafted pretty substantially. Like I should have been able to get Deontay Johnson right here, but I can't because he's gone. I couldn't even get him with the last pick. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not going to sit here. I like Deontay Johnson. You guys know me. I like Deontay Johnson this year. I think really the 65 range that he went right here, that is about where he should be anyways. So There goes Watson right after. So you know, I don't know, man. These guys are weird. This guy's weird. Why would he go? I just don't understand. Why would he go Deshaun Watson right here? Why wouldn't he grab Madison or Montgomery or Rashad White or, you know, just grab a running back, dude? You only got McCaffrey, dude. I just don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. He's playing defense, I guess. I don't know what he's doing. I guess he's playing defense. There we go. We're able to see the chat now. All right, yeah, I'm able to see the chat now. That's good. All right. I don't get that at all, man. I got taking Watson like that. I'm not saying I wasn't going to get him anyways. He was not going to fall to where, what, 93 is where I'm picking. I think there is a way to win though. I do think there is a decent way to win waiting on quarterback. This isn't the most ideal. We're gonna have to land somebody. I'm not gonna sit here and you know, tell you guys like, oh, I'm gonna win, you know, because I'm waiting on quarterback. Waiting on quarterback is a decent strategy, but you have to land that particular said quarterback. You have to. If you don't, it's not gonna end up very well for you, obviously. So there goes White. There goes Madison. There goes Montgomery. So we have this is the good news. We just had two guys at 11 and 12 who are waiting on quarterback. They did not take a quarterback. So he shouldn't take one. He shouldn't take one. Really, there's only one guy. So Top H or whatever his name is, this guy right here, he doesn't have a quarterback. He's got two. He's got two. Also, the guy who drafted second doesn't have a quarterback, but I got to pick before he does. So we should get our pick almost at any quarterback we want here. Gabe Davis, Johnston, Sutton. Okay. Oh, man. All right, Bateman just went. We pretty much have our pick at almost any quarterback we want. All right, so there goes Elijah Moore. That doesn't, you know, obviously we're not shocked by that. I just think this is the safest guy right now at quarterback, as far as like super safe. I know, you know, he's not committed beyond this year, but I just think he is the safest guy. Now, do we go tight end or do we go receiver is the question. These guys all have tight ends, so there's a good chance I can go tight end here. We pretty much got our pick here of the bunch. It's tough to figure out which one is going to be the best. But I think I'm going to take a chance on... This is tough because we are all over the place. So P. Ryan went. That's good because I really wanted to take P. Ryan if he was there. Joku is there. Do we take Njoku just to piss this guy off? Oh my god, it's Njoku or Fryer move. Which one do we take here? I'll let him have Njoku. He's going to take Njoku right here. Oh, we took Ingram instead. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. That's bold. I don't know why you don't just stack.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
He's got Trevor Lawrence, though, so I guess he was going to go either guy, huh? I don't know, man. I would have maybe taken Njoku. Yeah, it's close. They're both good. They're both good. They both have good upside. Don't get me wrong. They both have good upside. Let me pull up my ranking list here, really. Let me look here. I did do my tight end stats, my big board tight end stats. You know, it's going over really. You know, my top 8, we got Kelsey, we got Andrews, Hawkinson, Pitts at 4, Kittle 5, Goddard 6, and Njoku 7, Pat Freiermuth at 8, and then Evan Ingram at 9. Njoku has the second best red zone target share of any tight end. So the second best. The only one who had one that was better was Zach Ertz, but Zach Ertz didn't even make it through a fully healthy 2022 season. So you could maybe throw him out as an outlier for the most part. He only played he played 10 games, so he didn't miss as much time as I thought he did. But Njoku was, look, Freiermuth only had 2 touchdowns, and Njoku only had 4. Evan Ingram only had 4. Njoku had 20 red zone targets, so that was second best. The only one better was obviously Kelsey, who had 30. Yards per route, Freiermuth is really the better of the bunch between Ingram and Njoku and him. Njoku's 1.74, Ingram's 1.77, and Freiermuth is 1.86, so they're both good. You know, all 3 of them are good. They're all 3 top 10. So snap share, obviously Njoku has the better of the snap share, and then route participation, Njoku's slightly better as well. I really think Njoku is a little bit of a sleeper out there. I like Evan Ingram, and I like Freiermuth as well. Evan Ingram I worry a little more about than I do the other two, because I think there's more mouths to feed, in a sense. So more mouths to feed in Jacksonville. All right, so Damian Harris, Elijah Mitchell, Brian Robinson. So they're taking all my running backs. That's good. I'm glad they're doing that. They put us in a tough spot here. We need another receiver. Let's go get Mingo. I would take running back right there if Harris was there, and even if Mitchell was there. Brian Robinson, I may have taken it, but it would have been close. I can't take A-Chain. I don't think he's gonna be very much of the fantasy producer that some people might think. It's a crowded backfield. There's a chance Cook goes to Miami. If that happens, look, he's not gonna be a round 11 pick, especially when I already have 4 running backs on my team. So And I just can't believe it's so much different now, because you look at Dotson. Like, I'm not mad at my Dotson pick. I like Dotson, obviously, but that's what, the beginning of round 7 for the most part. You know, we looking at the board here. Scroll down just a smidge. Looking at the board here, we look at like these guys right here. Let me see if I can. It won't let me highlight them. But you look at like Johnson here, Brown, and Addison. At what? This is what, 65, 66, 67. This is halfway through round number 6. You could have easily got these guys the middle of round 7. You might even argue towards the end of round 7. So, you know, a couple of them. That's not obviously the case anymore. All right, I'm gonna take a chance with this guy. He's kind of going a little high, Okonkwo. I don't think he's there if I wait on him. I want to get another tight end. Now we're gonna wait towards the end to get another tight end, obviously. That's kind of my strategy, is like, I'll go get a couple tight ends here, like round 9 through 13. And then I will literally draft a tight end in round 17 or 18, potentially, as my last tight end. I was doing some DraftKings best balls the other day, so I'm trying to readjust to this one, because DraftKings is a little different. Players have different ADPs over there. Not too different, but there's some spots where you can steal some guys, whereas like on this, guys are going in different spots. And then also on DraftKings, there's 20 spots, 20 roster spots. On here, there's only 18. So so I need to adjust this. I need to adjust my board real quick again. I'm gonna try to adjust it real quick. I'm gonna have to make it a little bit smaller, I think. I'll be able to stretch it out over this way. Right there. We're just gonna have to stretch it. I freaking hate this look. Oh my goodness. Terrible. Looks so funny. I don't know how much I like that better. We might change that back. Oh, we're on the clock. I am about to get auto picked. About to get auto picked. We're gonna go this guy. Take another running back. We'll take Bigsby. I think out of all these late running backs down here, like, we're talking, I mean, obviously he's going earlier and earlier as time has went on. Warren is a decent guy to go get as well, I believe, as far as a late running back. Obviously, so is Tyler Algier. I feel better about Bigsby's role than I do Algier's. Just because their offense is a little better. And I know there's people that are high on ETN, and I like ETN as well, but let's not get it twisted. Bigsby is a threat. He is a threat to his workload. He is very much a threat. And it's not because ETN's bad or anything. ETN's good, but Bigsby's a better running back than Tyler Algier, in my opinion. I think he's better than Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren's not bad, but he's a smaller back. You know, he's not. Tank Bigsby can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's going to, more often than not, he's going to handle a decent workload share inside the 10-yard line, inside the red zone, because he's a thumper. He's a guy who can also run between the tackles. Very, very good. He's got the weight. He's got the size. What I worry about with somebody like ETN, of course, we're on the clock again here, and I'm not paying attention. I'm an idiot. Gotta get that guy. Gotta get him. All right, we got Stafford as our second quarterback. That's good for me because obviously I got Kupp. I got Cooper Kupp up here, right here. So that's why we took him. Is this too small? I wonder, is this too small for you guys to see? Do I need to take it back to where it was to make it bigger? The only problem is, you guys, I can't scroll down. I can't scroll down so you guys can see these bottom like 3 picks. If I do that, I would have to adjust it, and I don't really want to do that. Let's just keep it right here for now. Let's go to my border here. Shift over. Let's move it right there. All right, what we're going to do here is we're going to this is why I'm going to get another monitor. Whatever. It'll figure itself out here in a second. All right, so we got, let me look here. So Peebles, Jones, Mozart, Johnson, Algier, like 155 for Algier. That's really good. If I'm being honest, and I'm not saying Dulcich is a bad pick right here. Let me click off of this. There we go. Okay, so I'm not saying Dulcich is a bad pick right here, but this guy passed on Algier, and this guy has Bijan. I don't know if I do that if I'm him. This guy could have had a decent team here. Obviously I don't really care for Jacobs. I really don't care for Taylor either, to be honest. At least not at the beginning of round 2. I feel like instead of Sanders, he could have had Pierce, dude. He could have had Swift. I don't know, man. Or even if he didn't take Sanders here, say he doesn't take Sanders, he could have taken a receiver. This guy waited on a receiver until round 6. I would have taken a receiver here instead of Sanders. You already got 3 top 12 running backs for the most part, right? All right, we're on the clock. I think, right? No, we're getting ready to be on the clock. Okay, he didn't take the guy I wanted, so we're gonna take him. We got 4 receivers, now we got 5. Let's take Jaden Reed. Reed, I obviously have a ton of shares of. I'm highly, very high on Reed. I like Jaden Reed. Scroll down so you guys can see here. Can you guys see it? Can you guys see it like well enough, or is it too small? Do I need to blow it up, make it bigger? I had it bigger, obviously, for like I had it full screen, but then I couldn't scroll down to where you guys could see these last 4 picks, so I kind of adjusted it. So right now we got, well, here, I got a pick here in like 2 picks. Who are we going to take? Let's go. We got 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, 5 receivers, 5 running backs. We're doing really good on bye weeks. We have 5 running backs, all with different bye weeks. That's good. Receivers, we have 5 receivers with all different bye weeks as well, so that's really good. And then we have 2 tight ends with different bye weeks, 2 quarterbacks. So we did really good bye week. We did really good in terms of bye weeks. I'm gonna go get this guy because I don't think he's gonna be there if I wait on him. I do like Pickett, but we got Stafford. We have Cousins. We don't need to have Pickett. I only have Freiermuth anyways. Don't have really a stack. Like I don't have Johnson and Najee Harris to go with him. So we're going to go this guy. We're going to handcuff him to, we're going to handcuff Jerome Ford to Nick Chubb. Obviously, this is the first draft I've taken Nick Chubb. I don't really take Nick Chubb too often or at all. If this was full PPR, I would not take Nick Chubb. Okay, this is only half PPR though. That's the thing, like on DraftKings, you have a little bit different rules. You have full PPR, and then you have bonus points for 100-yard rush games and 100-yard receiving games, and then 300-yard passing games for quarterbacks as well. So it's a little different than Underdog. Like on DraftKings, I would never take Chubb ever. Even if he fell to like, he would have to fall to like round 4 for me to like even consider it, really, to be honest, because he doesn't catch the ball, and I don't think he's going to catch the ball this year. Everybody's like, well, he might catch it this year because Kareem Hunt's out of town. I don't think that's necessarily gonna happen though. Let me scroll down so you guys can see these picks. So Gainwell, Spears, Foreman, the next 3 running backs, Mechie, Wandale. So 2019. Okay. Gosh, man, Kareem Hunt. Looking at Kareem Hunt here, gosh, man. Guy was so good. So good, and then his career just got derailed because of that stupid incident up in freaking Toledo. Dude, I'm looking at Kareem Hunt right now because I'm looking at when he played with Cleveland, and then obviously, look, I'm obviously, you know, I'm a Chiefs guy. I live in Kansas City. I remember when we had Kareem Hunt. He was such a good running back in fantasy football. It's unreal. That last year in KC, 2018, he only played 11 games because that was right after the Rams game, that epic Rams game that we had. That was like 50 54 to 51 high scoring game or whatever it was. I believe it went into overtime. He freaking, that year, the 11 games that he played, he was averaging 14.5 yards per catch. He was such a good, like, he was good between the tackles, and he was a really good receiving back. Oh my gosh, man. 7 receiving touchdowns too to go along with 7 rushing, and that was only through 11 games. He had 228 fantasy points through 11 games. He had 291 the year before. He ran for almost, God, he was so good. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. 2018 and 2019. Okay, so look at Chubb. So let's just go through Chubb's history here. Chubb, I will say to Chubb's defense, he came into the league 2018. That was the same. So he only had 1 year without Hunt. That was his first year. But even that first year, he only caught 20 balls. So, all right, we're about to be on the clock here. Quarterbacks are coming off. We got 6 running backs, 5 we need a receiver. We need a tight end as well. All the good receivers for the most part are off the board. We're going to take a chance. I don't care for... I could maybe take Hardman, but I don't have to have him. I have plenty of shares of McCole Hardman here, down here late. We're going to take Dell. They can have Claypool. They can have Robert Woods. I don't really care about any of those guys, to be honest. And we're going to pick up another quarterback. Really, I'll take one of these 2 quarterbacks. Really, any of these 3 quarterbacks I will take if they are, they're there. They should be there. How many quarterbacks does this guy have? He's got 2. Guy that drafted second only has Jordan Love right here. So that's a little different. Don't see that very often. Especially from the 2 spot. This guy has Fields and Mahomes. This isn't my greatest team. I mean, it could be, but I don't think so. It's not terrible, though. Like I said, you go this strategy, like where we got Cousins, we got Stafford, and I think Stafford could be decent in fantasy this year. They're going to be terrible. The Rams are going to be horrible this year, okay? I'm not saying they're going to be good by any stretch of the imagination, but they might be good fantasy-wise, even though they're going to be bad overall. And I don't think they'll be too bad, but we're looking at... I don't think they're going to be a 500 team. I don't think they'll be 500 either. They're going to be behind in a lot of these games. That is the assumption for the most part. We're going to get our quarterback here, so that's good. I would have maybe taken Purdy, but I don't mind settling for Sam Howell. Look, back to LA. Their defense is terrible, man. They got a lot of young players on the defensive side of the ball, so they're not going to really be able to stop anybody, is what a lot of people are presuming. And if that's the case, they're going to be passing the ball a lot. So that's good if you're a Cup guy. That's good if you are a Stafford guy. Obviously, don't have Stafford as your first quarterback. He is getting up there in age. I believe he'll be 37 this year. He's getting up there in age a little bit. He did come off of the elbow surgery last year, so. But Cup's coming back from the ankle. He's looking to be pretty good, pretty much on track. Be ready. Same thing with Stafford. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot, and I don't mind. Look, whenever I get the 4 pick, this is one of my strategies: is to go get Cup, to go get Stafford. I'm trying to think if my other guy is still out there. Oh, Van Jefferson's right here. Okay, I was thinking Van Jefferson, but I guess I could have taken Jefferson here instead of Reed, but it is what it is. We got Sam Howell. We got Dotson to go with him. And we kind of got Cousins by himself. We don't have any other Viking players. But this is kind of one of my strategies from the 4 spot. Obviously, there's times where I've went Bijan here. There's times when I've went even Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson is a top 5 receiver in the league this year. This guy got him all the way back here. 13. Whenever I get stuck in this 4, 5 spot, 6 spot, I will take Wilson. Like 8 out of 10 times for the most part, because I think he's better than these other players. I just think he's better. And it's all, look, man, fantasy, and like I have an opinion. You can go watch Smitty. You can go watch some of these other guys, and everybody else has different opinions on guys. For the most part, I can give you my reasoning. I can give you my stats from last year, going off of stats, going off of, look, not everything is stats. There was a guy who called in the Smitty show last night. They're talking about strategy, and they're talking about really why, like why would you draft certain players, and why would you reach on certain players, or this and that. And you don't go off stats alone, okay? You can go look at stats to a degree, but really what you got to do is you take you take the eye test into consideration. So you got an eye test, you got stats from last year, and really when I say stats from last year, we're not going off of the overall stats. We're going off of efficiency. We're going off of usage, target shares. We're going off specific stats that lead to basically opportunity and points, and predictable points down the line. Okay, but you do that, you take the eye test into consideration. This is our last pick. We need to go, we got 6, 6, 3, 2 tight ends. I would like to have another tight end. Oh man, tight end's not there. Oh no, and I missed. I was gonna take Tillman. Okay, whatever. So you take the eye test into consideration. Does he pass the eye test? Does he look like a good player on the field? Does he look like he can dominate? Okay. So let's just talk about Garrett Wilson then, because Garrett Wilson is one of those guys right here that I think you can take inside the top 5. And I've seen him taken inside the top 5, but by somebody other than myself. He passes the eye test. Okay, if you don't think he passes the eye test, go back and look again. Just go back and watch again. See what he was able to do with really 2 bad quarterbacks. I don't think Mike White is the greatest quarterback. He's okay. He can have a game or 2 here and there. We know that. Wilson's obviously horrible. So the first thing to look at is eye test. Does he pass the eye test? Check. He does. Does he pass the statistical test, which is, I can pull it up here. I'll go over it real quick for those of you guys that haven't heard me go over it before. So Wilson, 24.9% target share. Like I said, 25% or above is what we're looking for in terms of a number 1 receiver. 25% is pretty elite for the most part. Like really 30, close to 30% or higher is, it's best of the best. Red zone target share, 31.7%. That's really good. Now, are the targets there? Is the volume there? So we know he gets looked at often throughout the game, and then he also gets looked at very often in the red zone. Red zone target share. Look, his red zone target share is 14% better than Tyreek Hill's. And Tyreek Hill is a top 5 receiver in the league. Consensus, for the most part, amongst just about anybody who has an opinion. It's higher than people like Cup. It's higher than Jefferson's red zone target share. It's higher than Stephon Diggs' target share. Chase and Adams and Metcalf and then obviously Calvin Ridley a few years ago, and then Drake London as well. Those are really the only guys that have a higher target share than him in the red zone. Now, is the volume there? Is the volume there? Yes, the volume is there because he had 147 targets. That's 8.6 a game last year, okay? As a rookie, by the way. If we compare him to the other rookies, let's go to Olave. Olave had 119. That is 28 targets less than what Garrett Wilson had. 28. Let's look at London. London had 117, so that's 30 less. So he had 30 and 28 more targets than both of those guys, and they were drafted right after him or before him in the draft. And you could make the same argument for all three of them. They don't really have that great of a quarterback last year. You know, if we're talking about last year, they didn't really have a great quarterback. London had Mariota and Ritter, who, you know, we'll see what happens with Ritter going forward, but I wouldn't say he's a top 10 quarterback, right? I wouldn't even say he's top 15 for the most part. Same thing with Garrett Wilson last year. He had Zach Wilson, Mike White. Neither of those guys are even in the top 20, maybe even the top 25. And then we look at Olave, who had pretty much Andy Dalton all of last year. Andy Dalton's, he's not in my top 25 either. So all of these guys really had top 20 quarterback, or did not one of them had a top 20 quarterback last year. But the eye test is there for Wilson. The volume is there because he's got more volume than his counterparts in the draft, like very much so. And really, you flirt with 150 targets for the whole year, which he did, 147. I mean, it can get better, but it can't get much better. I mean, Hill had 170, and then Justin Jefferson had the most at 184. Devontae Adams had 180. That's not much more than what Garrett Wilson had. That's only like 20 or 30 more. So he is elite in targets, very elite in total targets. Now, where's he at here? He is 6th category. Okay. So route participation, I can, it's almost 90%. It's pretty good. Air yards, he was top 11 in air yards. Now he has the #1 deep throwing quarterback coming to New York to throw him the ball. Red zone targets, 19. He was top 10 in that category. So it's there. The statistical features are there. The eye test is there. Now let's get into the last, really, this is another category that you can judge picks off of, and that is situation. So you got eye test, you got stats, and then you have situation. The situation is much better. He's got Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback now. They got some more pieces on the offense. They're going to get Breece Hall back, a fully healthy Breece Hall back. And I know that can, you can say, well, that's going to eat into his share. Potentially it could, to a degree. Maybe his targets do come down, say like 10 targets, maybe even 15. But is he more efficient on those targets now? Because he's not the focal point of the offense, and he doesn't have the defense just honing in on him, Now he's got a better quarterback. How many, you look at 147 targets, and he had, let me just double check here. He didn't have very many catches out of those targets. Why? Because he had a bad quarterback. 83 catches off of 147 targets. Only had 4 touchdowns. Touchdowns are going to go up. The catches are also going to go up because he's going to have more balls probably to catch that are actually catchable. So let's hop into another draft right here. So like I said, those are the things you got to look at. You can't just go off of stats last year. Like, you can't just go off of what Devontae Adams did last year. Like, yeah, I got to take him #2 overall because he was the second best receiver in the league last year. You got to look at his situation. Is it different? Yes, it is. You have to look at, we got #3 this time. you have to look at the eye test of what you see is he's getting older, obviously, but we haven't seen him with a quarterback that's not named Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers throughout his college and NFL history. So we don't know what that's going to be like now that he's got, you know, Jimmy Garoppolo throwing him the ball. Those are just things that you have to take into consideration of why I'm not rushing to pick some of these other players that, you know, generally speaking, have higher ADPs than some of the other guys that I'm more interested in. No matter what, you go and get your guy. No matter what, you always go and get your guy. And if you have to reach a little bit, you have to reach. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with reaching. You know, obviously, there's times when to reach, and I think there's times when not to. But go get your guys. And look, everybody's going to have different opinions on this, okay? You guys, I'm not saying you guys have to agree with me. You guys don't have to agree with me at all. But the only thing I can do is explain to you guys exactly why I do what I do, and take what you want out of it and whatever, you know. Of course, these guys take one of the two guys that I want. Go figure. Gosh, man, I hate this. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right here. I'm going to do this. I was hoping I didn't get pick number 3. I hate pick 3. It is one of the worst picks in the draft. Because if you don't get Chase or Jefferson, I don't think there's really any advantage to having a top 5 pick. That's why I don't like number 3. All right, these guys are flying off the board now. Your Cup goes 4 again. I thought about Cup, but we just took Cup in the last draft, so I didn't want to take him again. I thought about Bijan. I don't think Bijan should be going top 3, really, for the most part. I mean, you can make an argument. I still do have him as my number 1 running back. I'm a little skeptical of it, though, right now, obviously. All right, here. So, God, I'm hoping to get like pick 10 next time, maybe 10 or 11 again. Try. I wanted to try to go like Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then try to get Gibbs to go with, really Gibbs and Harris to go with those two. That would be ideal. I feel like I could have done that a couple weeks ago. It's hard to do it now, because Najee Harris's ADP has come up so much. It's risen so much. So I'm going to exploit this. I think this is a little bit of a mistake by these guys to let me have Olave right here. So I'm going to take Olave with Wilson. I'm going to Pair those guys up. This guy will probably go Higgins, and then he will probably go Burrow. I wouldn't be shocked. So there goes Higgins, obviously. Called that one. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes Burrow right here in the 3rd round. He probably will not get Burrow in round 4 because I'm probably not going to let him do that, depending on who he takes here. So if you're watching Cure, you might want to think about taking Joe Burrow right here, because you will not see him in round 4, depending on which running back you take right here. If you take a running back, buddy. Stevenson just went. That's a decent pick. That's not bad. A little unexpected, but so he took Hurts. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I'm gonna keep taking this guy. Optimistic for week 1. I think he gets limited to a degree the first 3 weeks. Breece Hall. I'm not gonna lie. I think he gets limited. But I think if we weather the storm for 3 weeks with him, I think we'll be fine. I think we will be fine. Don't freak out if you're a Breece Hall owner and he gets limited to a degree for the first 2 or 3 weeks. I would not freak out. Obviously, it doesn't matter in the best ball. You can't trade. You can't make any trades. But if you're in a regular league where you can make trades and stuff, trust me, don't freak out. Don't freak out if he gets off to a little bit of a slow start. He's probably going to. And that's okay. That's okay. You can work around that in a regular league. Obviously, in best ball, it's a little different, but there's obviously things you can do in best ball to work around it as well. I thought about going Najee Harris right there. I'm not going to lie. Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley. I still think Calvin Ridley is being drafted too high. Really, Calvin Ridley is probably going to be my next stay away player. I know I haven't gone over a player to avoid since Devontae Adams. I believe, like, what was it, Monday or Tuesday? Tuesday, I think I put that video up. I know I haven't put out another video. I've been busy. This is really the first time I've streamed in a minute. I've had work, and I just don't have as much time as I would like, you know, to try to do this full time. You know, I wish I had more time. That guy just went Allen and Burrow, dude.
Come on, man.
What is going on, dude? You know, whatever. It is what it is. I didn't really plan on getting Burrow anyways, but guys that go 2 quarters, is that like the new strategy? Is that a winning strategy? I don't know if it is. I guess it could be. You're gonna have to land. I guess if you're confident in landing your sleepers. Like you know, your sleeper players basically from round 7 to 11, if you can land those guys, you know that strategy can work out. Obviously, I'm not hating on it. I feel like it's a weird approach. And I've taken a similar approach in like a league to a degree, but I haven't gone. When I mean I've gone back-to-back quarterbacks before. I've gone like Herbert and Lawrence. I've never really gone back-to-back in round 2 and 3 or 2 and 4. I think there's too much value. Or we're on the clock. And they just let us have Najee Harris, so I don't know why they would do that, but they did it, and it's going to be a mistake. So it's going to be a mistake. You know, sorry. Sorry, Charlie. All right, I have a pretty good idea what I'm going to do here. I would normally go running back again, more than likely, with this pick. But we're just going to have to wait and see what this guy does. That guy got Gibbs. That's really good to get Gibbs at the end of round. The fact that he got Gibbs at the end of round 4 is crazy. The fact that I got Najee at the end of round 4 is also crazy. Call the police.
Robbery in progress.
So he goes Walker. What does he do here? McLaurin? Yeah. Gosh, man. Do we wait on quarterback or not? That's the question. We can obviously get either one. It doesn't matter what this guy does. Do we wait on quarterback is the question. He goes Dobbins. This sucks, man. I want to go Pierce so bad. I want to take Dameon Pierce so bad. I just can't do it though. I can't do it. Can't do it because I got Harris. You know what I mean? If I didn't get Harris right there, we're having a different conversation. I probably would have went Pierce right there anyways with Harris, and then I still would have got Herbert. Pierce is the best back on the board right now, in my opinion. My humble opinion, he's the best back on the board right now. You're looking at, I know you guys can't see who's on the board, but Jones, Sanders, Mixon are on the board basically in front of him. So, yeah. I like that Swift's ADP has dropped. I think that's awesome. We're kind of getting a little bit of a discount with him right there, in my opinion. Because he was obviously going like really round 6, like mid round 6 for the most part. Now he's kind of moved back to the beginning of round 7. I'm hoping we get this guy that's coming up. I don't know if we're going to get him or not. There are 2 guys really in particular that I'm looking for at this spot. Really 3, but I guess it just depends on who gets taken and who doesn't. We should get... If we get 2 of them, we'll be fine. I'm not going to really say who they are yet until we are coming up to pick. In case somebody is like stream sniping me or something. I want to get stream sniped. Make our camera a little bigger here. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and find me on social media. So Wayne Solo on Facebook, Twitter at Wayne Solo 5. I don't really post too much on Twitter as much, you know. But yeah, I'm trying to go live as often as I can. We're definitely going to go live tomorrow. Really, yeah, some point in time tomorrow. I don't know exactly what time. I can't really promise anything, but yeah, check me out on all those social media places. And we're going to start posting some more content over the weekend. We're really going to try to grind hard over some content this week. So would greatly appreciate any support you guys give me from any of those social media sites. All right, we're almost on the clock right here. And it looks like our guy is still there. And he is there. So we are going to take our guy. I don't want to risk him being taken here. I think somebody will take him. One of the 2 guys will take him. So we're going to take this guy. It's obviously earlier than I would like to take him, but we don't have a choice. He will not be there, and I think he is a steal where he's being drafted. I like him a lot better. Like Tony. You could even say Mike. I like him better than both of those guys. So, agree, disagree. It is what it, you know. I don't care. I'm just giving you my thoughts. I can explain to you why if you want me to go in depth about why I think he's better. But, let's see if we can get our second guy here. We're gonna get our second guy because he didn't take him. And this is our second guy. Swift. So we got 3 backs, three pretty good receivers, and Herbert. So we're doing pretty good this draft. This has worked out pretty well. I couldn't really ask for too much better than what I've got so far. The fact that we get Harris at the end of the 4th round is just kind of, I was kind of blown away that he was still there. He should not still be there when his ADP is 37.5. I do think Swift is kind of the better of these backs that are right here in this category. Like you're talking end of the 6th round into round 7. You look at all these guys right here, Akers, Madison, and White, they all just went after me taking Swift. I know Swift is injury prone, okay? I know some people might worry about that. But man, he is scary on the team that he is on if he stays healthy. And I will remind a lot of people, he didn't have as bad of a year as you thought he had last year. I know people that owned him were, I get it. You know, I didn't own him last year. So but I, you know, I knew people that owned him that were really, let's just put it, they weren't very happy with him. I get it, you know, because he would play a game, but then you're not going to know if he's going to make it through the game. He obviously started off week 1 really well, 28 points. But he finished pretty decent, you know, at Jacksonville, 19 points. Then he came back with a stinker against Minnesota, but then at the Jets, 10 points on 40% of the snap shares. Then he had 3 at Carolina, but then he finished week 17 and 18 against Chicago and at Green Bay with 25 points against Chicago, 12 against Green Bay. The guy is super efficient, is why I can't stay away from him. And would I draft him in round 3 or 4? No, I would not. You know what I mean? And what he was going in like what, round 2 or 3 last year? I'd have to really look it up, but I believe he was going inside the first. He was going like 3rd round, I believe, roughly, if I'm not mistaken. Like in best ball. Obviously, like in other leagues, like I'm in a league where we have double points for out of position scoring, so Swift is obviously really good in that category. He goes like at the end of round 1 or round 2 like every year. He goes at the beginning of round 2 or end of round 1 almost every year because he scores receiving touchdowns and there's double points for it in one of the leagues I was in. So, but he's super efficient, man. I can't stress this enough. He's super efficient. I worry about a little bit of his run, you know, his running game on the ground, because he doesn't get the volume that obviously a lot of people would love to have. But see, and here's the thing, this is what we can do. This is what we can do, and I'm gonna do this. We can just take Montgomery. We could just take Montgomery. Montgomery just fell to us for some reason. I don't know why. But Montgomery, like, see, now we got even some more insurance on Swift here. Montgomery's going to be the Jamal Williams back for Detroit this year, basically. He's got the Jamal Williams role. I think Montgomery's actually a really good pick here at the end of round 8. He should have went. What's his ADP? 87.6. I just took him at 94. Yeah, he should have went back here. He should have went before James Cook. He's better than James Cook. I think I'm going to go tight end here because I can't risk not getting one of these tight ends. This is kind of where the dead zone is. It's like right here. It's like 9, 10. There's not much of a dead zone. It's more like a dead spot of certain players. This is definitely a receiver dead zone, though, for the most part. I don't like Mike Thomas, who's the best guy on the board, according to ADP. I wouldn't say it's really much of a dead spot for running backs. Robinson and P. Ryan are on the board, which isn't bad. We're going to go tight end here. I just like this guy too much. And plus I got Johnson and Harris, so we're going to go Freiermuth here. I do like Pat Freiermuth a lot. Just really what you're worried about with Njoku and Freiermuth to a degree. You're just worried about a little bit of injury concern. Obviously, Njoku's a little bit more injury prone. He's been in the league a little longer, and he's burned some people, obviously, in the past. So, look, there goes 3 tight ends. So, yeah, you know, Evan Ingram was still there, too. I just don't know about Ingram. I have shares of Ingram on other teams, so I'm not too worried about it. I obviously have more shares of Freiermuth probably than anybody, but that's just because of what, you know, my research tells me to take him, basically. What was I saying? Back to like Montgomery. Montgomery should not be there. And this gives us a little bit more insurance with Swift. You know what I mean? If say Swift gets hurt, okay, at least we got Montgomery as a third guy. That's not a bad third running back who is pretty decent, and he's in a good situation. Like I said, going back to these players, you don't go just off of stats. You go off of stats, and you're talking about key stats, okay? Like snap share, opportunity share for running backs, how many red zone touches are they getting, yada yada. But you go off of certain metrics, then you go off the eye test. Do they still have it? Do they still show that they can play pretty efficient, pretty good? And then what kind of situation do they have in the offense or on the team that they are on? If they're on it, like Montgomery situation, he's on a different team now. He's got the Jamal Williams role. It's look, could he completely not play as good as what Jamal Williams did? Absolutely. You know, he could end up doing the exact opposite of what Williams did. But we see what Williams did. Jahmyr Gibbs is only 200 pounds. They're not going to feed him the ball unless it's out of the passing game. They're not going to feed him the ball inside the 20. That's going to be Montgomery's role. And, you know, I'm trying to... Let me go look and see how many red zone touches Montgomery had last year. 25 here, so... You know, snap share was pretty decent. He was just outside the top 20 in terms of rushing attempts. But let's look at his target share. So really, I mean, he had 40 targets out of the past game. That's obviously probably going to come down now that Gibbs is in. You know, Gibbs got drafted. He actually has a pretty good target share. It's almost 12%. That's decent for Montgomery. Obviously, it's going to come down though. But we look at red zone touches. He had 37. That was top 24. It's our pick now. All right, so gosh, dude, I love Damian Harris too, and he's there. We got to get this guy though, because this guy needs a quarterback. We got to take him. We got to take him. We got to take him, chat. Aaron Rodgers. We got Wilson. We got Breece Hall. We got to take him. So a little bit of a stack there. Stacking is a you know, like I said, going back to strategy, going back to some of the strategy for best ball. Obviously, you know, we talked about it on Smitty's show. I didn't really chime in too much on it whenever they were talking about it. Him and a couple other guys that were on the phone line. Also, for any of you guys out there new, go watch Smitty. Go watch the Fantasy Football Show on YouTube, especially if I'm not on, obviously. And I'm definitely not live and on, you know, on social media and stuff as much as he is, just because, you know, I work 5 days a week and stuff, and I'm busy, but I try to get on here as much as I can, and I'm trying to build my own stuff here, do my own thing. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna, you know, I'm still a part of his community. I've been a part of his community for almost 8-9 months now, so that doesn't mean I'm not gonna be a part of his community because I'm doing my own thing here. We're gonna go. We're just gonna keep drafting this guy, and this will be our fourth receiver. We kind of need to go receiver here. But Obviously, if Damian Harris is there, yeah, Damian Harris, that guy took Damian Harris right here at the end of the round 10, so that's tough. But going back to like the strategies for best ball, and like I said, they were talking about it. It's there's a million strategies you can take. I think there's a certain strategy for a certain particular draft spot that you have. Okay, I think this is just me, but if I'm like, say I'm inside the top 3, which I was 4th last draft, I'm 3rd at the 3rd spot this draft. There's a reason I went 2 receivers here. There's a reason I went Wilson, and then obviously Olave fell to me, so I had to take him. Obviously, you gotta go with the flow of your draft. You gotta be able to switch gears depending on what happens. Okay. Obviously, you're gonna get better the more of these you do, because you're gonna know everybody's ADP like the back of your hand. You're gonna know. You can sit here and look at guys' teams and you'd be like, okay, he's probably, like, you've already seen me predict a couple of picks already, for the most part. You kind of know what guys are going to do based off what they already got right here, and you can see it all right here. I keep saying over here, this is where my screen is. But I went 2 receivers here for a reason, because I knew I was going to be able to get either Stevenson, Hall, or even Harris. If say both of these guys took Hall and Stevenson, I was probably going to go Harris, maybe even Jahmyr Gibbs. I already knew I was going to get one of my running backs with the next pick. Obviously, we got super lucky that Harris was here, and even Gibbs was still on the board as well. And the only reason why I don't like Gibbs over Harris is just because Harris has more volume, and this is half PPR. There's no bonus points for a 100-yard receiving game, which Gibbs could obviously accomplish that a couple of times, maybe even more than that. But you're not going to get bonus points for that in this league, so that's why I'm kind of going Harris over Gibbs. But obviously, we lucked out with Harris being right there. I'm still probably taking, like, but look, I already know that Dobbins, so Dobbins went 50th. Let me show you guys my mouse. Dobbins went 50th. I could have had Dobbins right here, and I know that. I know I could have had Dobbins here. That's why I knew I could get off with going 2 really good receivers right here. I knew I could get by with that. We obviously got lucky that Swift and we got Johnson as well. Johnson obviously went like 66th, 65th last draft. So there was no guarantee he was going to fall to me at 70. I think... Look, this is just me. There's some people out there who are like, well, Johnson sucks. He didn't score a touchdown last year. You know, there's going to be people out there that think that. I think differently. I mean, obviously he didn't score last year, but I think he has a different year this year. And I think he's a very good value in the into the 6th, even, you know, in the 7th round. I took him in the like middle of the 7th in a ton of drafts last puppy draft. The last puppy contest or whatever. $441. Okonkwo is there again, dude. Oh my god. I'm gonna take him. I'm sitting here looking, I'm thinking, which running back do I want to take here? I'm gonna take this guy if he's there this time. I probably should have taken him right there, but that's okay. That's okay. Like I said, you like really the key to like I said, you can have any plan you want when you go into these drafts, but you have to be able to switch gears. You have to be able to adjust on the fly. Like if somebody takes my running back right here, I have Jaylen Warren queued up. Okay, if somebody takes him, I'm already preparing. I already know who I'm gonna take if he gets taken. And I don't even have him queued up, but I'm sitting here looking. I mean, obviously I'm talking to you guys and I'm doing this at the same time, so there goes Bigsby. Obviously I could have taken Bigsby instead of Warren. I will probably go Jaylen Warren just because he's a backup, a handcuff to Najee Harris. Gives us a little bit more running back insurance for the most part. We could go receiver here. I know we only got 4 receivers. Here's the thing, you can get receivers late. if you guys are wondering why I haven't, like, why do I only have 4 receivers? Because whenever you draft at the beginning, especially when you get 2 A receivers, these are A guys, A-list guys right here, Olave and Will. This is obviously my opinion. Once again, my opinion. But when you get 2 A-list guys, you can kind of wait on receiver. You do start 3 receivers, so you obviously need to have another one. We got Johnson. We also got Johnson, so that makes me feel even better about my situation as far as waiting on receivers. I don't mind Mingo as a 4th guy right here. So there's other guys that I know that their ADP is down here that I like, that aren't obviously going to start. They're not going to be my number 1 guys, but I do like them enough to where I think I can get value out of them, and I can land them around 15, 16, and 17. So that's why, that's why I went running back here, and I went another tight end. I think that there's a little bit of a tight end drop off after Laporta goes. I think there's a little bit of a tight end drop off. Like I would put Dulcich, Okonkwo, Cole Kmet. You could maybe say Johnson, maybe not, probably not Johnson, but Kmet, Okonkwo, Dulcich. I would even throw Laporta in this group of tight ends where they're kind of in a tier. And then like Johnson, I would say Johnson, Irv Smith, Higbee, even Everett to a degree maybe. I would kind of throw them a little bit lower than those other guys to a degree. I mean, it's not far off. It's not like they are far behind each other. They're obviously close, but I know Okonkwo's being drafted a little high. I think actually that I got him at 142 right here. This is actually really good. He was going inside 130 during the last few drafts. Like during the Poodle 2 drafts, he was going inside of 130. I think his ADP was like 128 or something at the time. Like even this for Cole Kmet, that's really good value too. Cole Kmet was easily going like 130. So now, like if I'm being drafted, like let's say I'm drafting like 7 spot all the way down to 12 spot, I'm more than likely I'm gonna get a receiver. I'm gonna get an elite receiver with one of my first 2 picks, but I'm going heavy running back after that. Like I'm not doing this. I'm not doing what this guy did. I'm just not doing what this guy did. This guy's in the 12 spot. He's got to make up. And I don't even like the guys that he took. I mean, obviously, I have a different opinion. So maybe this guy's higher on these other guys than I am. I like CeeDee Lamb. I'm taking St. Brown. I like Adams, dude. I just don't like his situation in Las Vegas. I don't like it, and I can't take him in the beginning of the 2nd round. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, obviously this guy did, so he doesn't really have an issue with it, but I can't do it. All right, we got to go get this guy. We're getting our quarterback. I don't care. I don't care if we already got 2. We're stacking this guy. We're stacking him with all of our Pittsburgh guys. See who we're gonna get. All right, we got 3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 4 receivers. Tight. So we need to go receiver here. All right, look at receivers. These guys are taking my guys. What are they taking my guys like this for? Who went? They took these guys way back here. Where is Reed? Went 137? What the heck? Where's Reed at? Man, Reed went 137, dude.
Come on, man.
Oh, man. I like this guy. I like this guy down here. So going back to this guy, yeah, let's go back to this guy. Drafted 12th overall. I just don't know about this, man. I'm not saying, look, I could feel better. Like, here's the thing. This is best ball. This is best ball. This isn't regular. This isn't a regular league where you can trade somebody or trade for somebody. You can't do that. I like Adams. Look, and I had a Devontae Adams as a player to avoid video back on Tuesday. Go check that out on the YouTube if you haven't already. Obviously, after the stream is over, go do that if you have any free time. It's like an 18-minute video. But we go over Adams' situation, and it's not good. I don't care if you're the biggest Raider fan. And look, I'm a Chiefs fan, but I'm an unbiased Chiefs fan. I love New York this year. I love a lot of some of these other players in fantasy. I'm not even really that high on any of the Chiefs players in fantasy this year. I think the Chiefs have a little bit of a down year. We have a really tough schedule. We're getting screwed in the rest disparity towards the end of the season for like the last 6 games of the year, which doesn't, go in our favor. I think the Chiefs are going to have a tough year. I think we'll be above 500. Obviously, I think we'll be in the playoffs. But if you said, "Hey, are we going to win the Super Bowl this year?" Like I have a buddy I work with who's diehard Chiefs fan, just like me. He's like a super Chiefs fan now. He's like, "Oh, we're going to win it all again this year." I'm like, "Dude, no, we're not." Not unless we go get Hopkins. Maybe I could maybe see an avenue that way, but it's going to be tough. There's a reason you haven't seen a team win it in back-to-back years in a long time. It's not easy to do, and as a Chiefs fan, I can put my bias aside and tell you, like, what I think for certain players, even players of teams that I root for. And I can be totally unbiased about it. And here's the thing about Adams. Their situation's not good. You can't get rid of this guy once you draft him on best ball, okay? If I could get him down here in like the later, like 31 to 36, I would consider it. I would consider it because there's a chance he could obviously get traded to a different team where he becomes more productive. He has a better chance of producing fantasy-wise. And I know he produced really, really well. I know he produced really, really well last year. He was the number 2 receiver pretty much in fantasy football. But you can't look, man, he's getting older. He's going to be 31. I'm not saying he's at the end of his career. I think he's got a year or 2 left. But I don't trust that head coach. I don't trust Jimmy G, and I definitely don't trust Hoyer if something happens to Jimmy G, which is more than likely going to happen. Jimmy G gets injured every year. He just had a waiver for the surgery on his foot that he didn't tell anybody about. He had to sign a waiver because he couldn't pass the team physical. And really, the waiver is really just more so for the Raiders covering their ass as far as if he gets hurt with that foot, But we're going to take this guy. He's still there. We're going to take him. He's still there. He ain't there anymore because I just took him. But I'm not drafting this guy ahead of somebody like St. Brown, who's going to get a ton of volume, more than likely. I mean, he's already a high volume guy to a degree. He's not quite as high as Adams, but he could get a ton of volume the first 6 weeks now that Jameson Williams is suspended. He is the number 1 guy. I don't think Marvin Jones coming in for Jameson Williams is really like, oh my God, we got to start Marvin Jones now because he's taking Jameson Williams' spot for 6 weeks. St. Brown and really you could argue Gibbs, they're basically the beneficiaries of Williams' suspension, and it's going to show. I'm taking St. Brown over him all day. I'm taking Olave over him all day too. Olave's number 1 guy. I think really at the end of round 2 is a little bit of a steal. I think he could be going, say, like where Waddle went or where Barkley went or even Pollard. I think he could be going down here in the middle of round 2. Really, you could argue the 15 or 16 spot. I think 13's a little high, but I still would rather have him over Adams this year at least, because it's just he's got a different quarterback who's not very good. He's got a bad head coach. He's on a team that's got the second toughest schedule that has no defense. It's going to be tough, man. He doesn't have, and look, Derek Carr, I know Derek Carr is not the greatest quarterback, but he's better than Jimmy G. He's a better guy to have on to to be throwing your receivers the football that you own in fantasy, because he's a better fantasy producer at quarterback than what Jimmy G is. And that's not disputable. I don't care who you are, that's not disputable. It's not, you can't really argue the other side. Like, let's look up Jimmy G here. Let's just go over Jimmy G. I haven't really looked, but I already know. He's not good in fantasy. He's not good in fantasy. So he's injury prone for one. He's very injury prone. He's way more injury prone than Derek Carr. Let's look at the game. 16 points, 10 points, 15 points, 18, 18, 20, 17. Didn't play against Jacksonville. He missed that game. 15 points, 25 against Arizona. That's not bad. He threw for 4 touchdowns. That's like a career high for him. 13 points, and then he had 2 points the game he got hurt against Miami, and then he missed the rest of the year. Let's go back to 2021. 19, 19, 16. Now, granted, this is my league. My league has a little bit more bonus points for 40-yard touchdown passes, 40-yard touchdown throws, going over 300 yards, which he like rarely does. He was close. He had a few games last year or 2 years ago. But so realistically, these numbers, like say in this best ball, they're actually a little lower than what I'm saying, because like I said, in our league on Sleeper, we have bonus points that would not be applied on Underdog. But yeah, 19, 19, 16, 9 points. Missed 2 games because he got injured. Played 100% against Indy week 7. This was his 2021. 8 points. Then he came back with 29, 22, which is pretty good for him. That's 29 is obviously really good for him. What did he do this game? How did he get so many points? He threw for over 300. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. He didn't even throw a passing touchdown either. But then we get, 29, 22, then you go 17, 15, 12, 19, 20, 13, 17. Oh, got hurt, missed a game, and then 16. Let's go back to 2020. 2020. This was terrible, by the way. This was the year after they lost the Super Bowl to my Chiefs, right? Yeah, 2020. 21 points. Played 50% of the snaps. Got hurt against the Jets week 2. 13 points. Missed week 3. Missed week 4. Played 50% of the snaps week 5. He must have got hurt in the middle of the game again. Had 1 point. 1.08. All right, we're on the clock. We got to get receiver or tight end. I think Musgrave. So yeah, 1.08 week 5. So this is 2020. 25 points against the Rams. Came back. 25 points. Week 7, New England, less than 10 points, about 9.5 points. Played 100% of the game. Week 8, 58% of the snaps, 2 points, got hurt, and then he missed week 9, week 10, week 11, week 12, week 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And well, this is before they had 18 games. So yeah, missed the rest of the season. But there's injury concerns. He's not going to be the quarterback the whole year. I'll be shocked if he makes it through the whole year as a starter. Plus he sucks. Okay, he's not as good of a quarterback when he's throwing the ball down the field, and he's gonna have to throw the ball down the field to get it to somebody like Devontae Adams. So I hate going on a little tangent about that, but I'm not interested, man. I'm not interested. Who's this guy gonna take? He already picked. Let's see what it is. Puppy 2. All right. You took Clyde the Glide. Clyde the Glide. This is a pretty good team for us here. I like this team. We went and got, so we got, go back here. As you can see over here on the right side, we got Herbert, Rodgers, Kenny Pickett, Brees Hall, Najee Harris, Swift, Montgomery, Warren. This is actually a really good running back room for, I mean, obviously we got super lucky to get Najee Harris so late. Wilson, Olave, Deontay Johnson, Mingo, Samuel, Isaiah Hodgins, Tank Dell. This is a really good team. This is actually really good. This is probably one of my better teams for the most part. We're pretty much, you can't really say this too often, but I'm elite everywhere. You can't really say that for a lot of teams because it's hard to, usually you're lacking somewhere. You're lacking somewhere usually. Whether it's tight end or receiver or running back or quarterback. That's not too bad for us. I actually like that team a lot. Very happy with that. Let's go another one. Keep spending money. Like 5:30, we got time. I don't go to work till 10 o'clock tonight, so. All right, we got pick number 6. This is not the greatest. I would rather have like pick 8 or 9. I can try to go the particular strategy that I want to go. Yeah, I just don't like Adams's I don't like his outlook with that team. And I'm not, look, I know he can get traded. I think he does get traded about halfway through the season. But in best ball, it might be too late, is what I'm saying. It might be too late for you. Because you can't get rid of him. You can't trade him. You can't trade for him in best ball. You can't like say, oh, I'm going to go get Devontae Adams week 7 because he's played horrible in fantasy. He's been a horrible fantasy producer from week 1 to week 7. So I might go trade this guy. You can't do that in best ball. Your team is locked in. What I'm saying is, could he be good? Say he gets traded week 7 or week 8. Could he be good for the rest of the year for you? Absolutely. But is it too late? Have you already lost out too much on him of your investment with him from week 1 to week 6 or 1 to week 7 whenever he gets traded, or even if he doesn't get traded? Have you already lost out too much because he doesn't produce the same way that he was producing last year because the offense and the team for the most part is not as good? And have you lost out on too many points over those first 5 or 6 weeks to the point to where you can't catch up? You cannot catch up because you have to catch up by week 14. You have to be in the top 2 by week 14. After week 14, we get into the elimination rounds. And that's all I'm saying. This guy took McCaffrey 1, dude. Unbelievable. Let me show this to you guys. So that's all I'm saying about Adams. So I don't think he's worth the 2nd round pick, especially the early 2nd. I don't even think, look, if I don't get him towards the end of round 3 or the beginning of round 4, I'm not even entertaining it, to be honest. I'm just not. We're on the clock here. This is tough, man, because they took all my guys for the most part. I'm gonna have to make the pick on this. I don't have this other thing up. I'm gonna try this strategy from this spot, so let's just do that. I'm gonna try this. I don't recommend you guys do this. It could work out, but this could be tough sledding for me here. I guess as we're gonna get sniped here in the later rounds going this strategy. I'm not a fan of Kelsey in the first round. I really am not. It's a tough way to go. See what happens here. I could have went Bijan. I could have went obviously Garrett Wilson, but wishful thinking. It's okay. We're just gonna try this. We're gonna try a little bit of a Chiefs. Another reason why I'm not a big fan of the Chiefs stack. Okay, like I said, this is coming from a Chiefs fan. I live in Kansas City area. I'm not gonna tell you guys exactly where I live. I live in the Kansas City area. The stadium is like 15 minute, like a 10-15 minute drive from my house. But I'm telling you, and like I said, I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm giving you guys unbiased here. The reason why I'm not a big fan of this Chiefs kind of like, I'm gonna go after a Chiefs stack here a little bit, but I'm not too big of a fan of it because once again, we have the toughest schedule. We have a negative rest disparity. Like after we play Philly week 11, from week 12 to the end of the season, we have a negative rest disparity against every single one of those teams. All of those teams that we play after the Eagles, they have more rest than us each of those weeks. They're playing on more rest. So it's gonna be tough sledding. And like I said, we have the, you know, what I think it's like the fourth most difficult schedule out of all the NFL teams. I just don't know, man. It's that stuff like that does have to do with fantasy football. So this guy got Wilson and St. Brown. That's why I almost kind of want the 10 or 11 pick. I want to go St. Brown and Wilson and then try to get like Gibbs and Najee. I mean, I just did that actually with Wilson and Olave, so at the number 3 spot. That's probably not going to happen again though for a long time. So Adams at 16, that's like, you know, that's better. That's better. I like that St. Brown and Waddle kind of went before, and Waddle's kind of a little, I don't know if I'm not quite sure if I take Waddle over Adams. It's tough, man. It's tough to do. I know. I don't feel the greatest about either of them, to be honest, this year. I mean, if I could get them in round 3 or 4, I would feel really good about it, but we're talking round 2. Talking a little bit different story here. See if this guy snipes me here or not. I guess as he will, because he's a come on, dude, just pick, bro. You don't have to think about it too hard. Take Olave. Oh, thank goodness, dude. I was about to have a heart attack. Like, wait, he's taking my guy here. All right, we're gonna go Patty Mahomes. So we got our Kelsey Mahomes stack. So now we're gonna be gambling on running back here and receiver for the most part. We're gambling. Not saying it can't work, but we're going to have to get lucky here. We're going to have to get lucky that some of these guys that I'm thinking about can stay there and really, hopefully they produce as well, right? This is where things get a little interesting. Well, that's super early for DK. I was actually thinking about DK, to be honest. That's a little early for DK. That's really early for DK, actually. I think that guy probably wanted Devontae Smith, though. So this guy got his Burrow, Chase, Higgins stack, but he reached on Burrow. So our running back, man, this is going to be tough. Our running back's going to be there. What running back do we take is the question. Gotta go this guy. He's there. He's not gonna be there if I don't take him, so this is a gamble because I wanted to go receiver right there. I wanted to go receiver, so this is a little bit of a gamble. That's assuming my receiver, yeah, he's still on the board. Okay. We're gonna be hard pressed to get the receiver we want right here, I think. I'm trying to think of who would snipe me. guy drafting 10th might snipe me, and the guy that's drafting last might snipe me. I don't know. Really, one of the last 3 guys would snipe me, I think. The running backs are going to start flying off the board here in a second. I mean, they already are. But like Harris, ETN. Like, remember how I got Harris at the end of round 4? That's not happening in this draft. It's not happening. So that's good that this guy took Andrews. This guy who just took Andrews is going to take Lamar Jackson on the way back if he's there. That's if he's there, which he probably will not be. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Next pick. Got him with the next pick.
Got him!
Got him with the very next pick. So Ridley goes. So this last guy should take Gibbs. I think he's going to take Gibbs with one of these 2 picks. Man, dude, this is... Oh, Gibbs. Take Gibbs. Tebow. I'm just hoping my receiver hangs on. You guys probably know who it is, but I don't think he's going to beat it. Sucks. We're going to have to pivot, though. Here's what I'm talking about. We're just going to have to pivot, though. I know who I want. I am going to queue him up. I know it's bad juju to queue a guy up. Well, you know, we're going to queue him up. Hopefully he'll be there. This guy's taking his sweet time. Fields, okay. We like that. We like that. Najee, okay. Not bad. We like that. Just let my guy be there. This guy's only got 1 receiver. Thornton. S. Thornton. He could take my receiver.
Come on, man.
He just took my receiver. I wanted Hopkins. I wanted to try to stack Hopkins with Kelsey and Mahomes. He just sniped me. This guy, what is this guy doing, bro? Go get a running back. You have no running backs. This is why I don't like this strategy. For those of you guys out there, this is why I don't like this strategy. Why I do not like... I'm about to be 4 rounds without a receiver. Potentially. I will take Gibbs if he's there. I think. Oh, man. He's there, too. I'm going to take him. I know what you guys are thinking. I'm like, what about receiver? We're gonna start reaching on receiver here for the most part. I think some of these receivers will come back because the guy drafting 3rd and the guy drafting 2nd also does not have a running back. So, but these guys just keep drafting receivers, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. At least they took 2 that I don't really want for the most part. I wanted Hopkins, man. I wanted to go Hopkins. Like, if you ask me Gibbs or I'm taking Hopkins all day. With this roster, with these guys, I'm taking Hopkins all day, even if Gibbs is still on the board. Because I got the stack. 2, I have the stack if Hopkins goes to the Chiefs. Obviously, that's not set in stone yet. And then I already got Stevenson, so I don't really need. You know, I can get another running back, pick 54. Surprised Kenneth Walker has not gone yet. Walker should go in the next 2 picks. Or 3 picks. He's not going to make it to me. There's no way Walker makes it to me. I'm not taking him even if he is there because I got to get a receiver. Although Dobbins will be tempting, so will Pierce. They will be tempting to take. I don't know if I can... I do kind of like Kirk a little bit. I do kind of like Kirk. I like McLaurin too, but he just got taken. DJ Moore, I don't know, man, about Moore. Just don't know about Moore. I'll probably take him if he's there, to be honest. Here goes Kirk. That's good. These guys are leaving all these running backs on the board. I don't know if I understand that strategy. I don't understand why they're leaving running backs on the board, dude. Why? It makes me want to take a running back because they're leaving them. You know? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna wait on the receiver again just because I can't not take that guy when he's there. I really could have taken Dobbins too. I'm literally like, I love Pierce and Dobbins both. I like both of them. You know, they both go in the same round. Obviously, it's kind of pick your poison. But which one do you want? Really, I could have went with either guy. I have a week 11 for Stevenson, week 9 for Gibbs, and week 7 for Pierce. Those are the bye weeks, so we're good. We're good in that department. We're just gonna have to hit some sleeper receivers. But for those of you guys out there that are watching me do this, I don't do this very often. This is only like the 3rd or 4th time maybe I've taken Kelsey. This is why I don't like taking Kelsey. I don't think this year in particular, I'm sure there's been years past where maybe this could pay off, but this year in particular, I don't like this strategy. I don't think a team that does this strategy where they go like a Mahomes and a Kelsey, I don't think they win. I don't really think they even have a chance, to be honest. There's always a chance, but I don't think...
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
There's a chance, but it's not very good. More like 1 out of a million. It's not good, in my opinion. I don't think it's good. With their schedule, if they don't get Hopkins on top of that, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about my own team. I think they're going to be decent, but an injury occurs. Like with Kelsey, he misses a few games. Even if he only misses like 2 or 3 games, let's say he only misses like 2 or 3 games, you're done. Especially if those games are in the first. Really, it doesn't really matter what week they're in. I would say if they're before week 14, you're going to be hard pressed to even finish 1st or 2nd. And then obviously, if it happens after week 14, and say you did make it into the elimination rounds, you're going to lose because you're going to be missing somebody, you know, one of your best players. I just don't know, man. I don't like this strategy, and this is why. We're obviously going to take this guy. I will take him first, too. I really don't care. Really don't care. This guy that drafted first, I've never seen that strategy at all. This is new right here. I've never seen no wide receivers through the first 5 rounds. Obviously, I've done that, but I didn't take 2 tight ends. I've never seen that one before. That one's new to me. That's. Hey, if you guys draft number 1 overall, do not do what this guy did. Do not do what that guy did. I'm just telling you right now. That's like prime example number 1 of what not to do if you have the number 1 overall pick. That is terrible. That is. You know what that is?
Oh, well, better luck next year.
That's what that is. I'm gonna take this guy again. I think he is the best receiver on the board. We will take this guy next. Try to salvage this draft a little bit and hope that these 2 guys land. Do not do what this guy did right here. Right here. Do not do this at all. This is horrible. This is... That's what that is. That is...
What an idiot.
I mean, maybe, you know, and look, this could be like his last team. Maybe he's already done like 100 of these, and maybe he's just trying something new. But That could always be the case. That's why I don't really judge. I don't take too much judging into like some of these guys' teams, because you never know like what they're doing. They could be trying something off the cuff, something that's different because maybe they've already done a ton of drafts. You know what I mean? So, but this is, I don't even know if I understand that. And he just took Tony, so that's good. I don't want that guy anyway, so you can have that guy. I feel like Burks is going a little high. Well, it's gonna be tough to pass on Addison if he's there, huh? Tough to pass on Addison if he is there. Well, we don't have to worry about it now. He's gone. Okay, he wasn't really my original choice anyways. This was my original choice. Let's go Dotson. We're trying to turn this around a little bit. You know, I get it. I don't really have a true number one receiver. We can maybe strike lightning in a bottle with both of these guys to a degree is the thing. Johnson, I'll reiterate Johnson's stats for the most part. Dotson's are not obviously as good, but Dotson, this is his second year. He could have a breakout year as a sophomore. We go back to Johnson though. Johnson had 147 targets. That was the same amount of targets as Garrett Wilson. Obviously, I don't think he's better than Garrett Wilson, but yeah, going back to Johnson, 147 targets. It's really good. That's 8.6 a game. It's the same as Garrett Wilson, 98%. This is the difference. Like, he had 98% route participation, but he had 31% red zone target share, 27% regular target share. That's elite in both categories. You can't really say that about anybody that's being drafted near him. Can't say that about anybody that's being drafted. Let's just go down the list. You can't say that about Pickens. You can't say that about Gabe Davis. You can't say that about Addison, obviously. Burks, Cooks, Lockett. Let's just go with the guys that are around him now. Let's go Ayuk, Evans, Marquise Brown, Jason. You can't really say that about any of those guys. Maybe Mike Evans is close, but not quite. Actually, Evans is nowhere near the same target share in the red zone and regular target share from last year, and that's when he had Brady. He doesn't even have Brady on his team anymore now, so you could have maybe said that about Evans about 2 or 3 years ago. Ayuk had 23.5% target share, 23.2 in the red zone, so he's close. Only 113 targets though, so you're talking 34 less targets than what Johnson had. Deontay Johnson's better than people think. I know Smitty gives him a bunch of flack, but he's not looking. I don't think he's looking at the bigger picture. And he didn't score a touchdown last year. He's gonna score a touchdown this year. He had 18 red zone targets, which is top 10 last year, and he's got pretty good route win rate. He was top 35 in route win rate. He could have been a little better in route win rate against man coverage, but he's pretty good. He's a lot better than people think is the thing. All right, so we're kind of in this receiver dead zone, roughly. I don't mind a couple of guys. I'm not going to really say who they are right now. I'll let you guys know after the draft. Montgomery is there. Do we wait? I think we're going to wait. Oh man. Do we take this guy? I should have taken a receiver here, but we're gonna go this route. We're gonna go this route. We're gonna go this route instead. Remember, we don't have to get a tight end. Don't have to get a tight end. We got Kelsey. Look, if Kelsey gets hurt, this team's done anyways. I mean, we can maybe go get another tight end that, you know, like we can maybe go get Freiermuth or Njoku, but, well, Njoku just got taken. Never mind. We can maybe go get Freiermuth, but we don't have to. This is kind of, in my opinion, this is a little bit where the receiver dead zone is. I wouldn't say it's a dead zone, but there's a couple of dead spots where we're at right now. We have Zay Flowers, Bateman, Mike Thomas, Sutton, Jameson Williams, Juju on the board right now. This is a little bit of a dead zone in my opinion. It's not like a true dead zone, but there's a couple of dead spots. There's a couple of dead players as far as a player I would not draft. You know, as far as being close to like a dead zone type of player. And one of them just got drafted, Mike Thomas. Jameson Williams. You can have him in round 9. So this guy's trying to play. Look, this guy's trying to play catch up at the receiver spot, and he had the first overall pick. This is why you don't do what this guy just did. It's one thing for me to play catch up. I went out and got Mahomes, Kelsey, and I'm drafting in the middle of the draft. This guy has a number. This guy had his pick at Jefferson or Chase. Like, I don't even mind if you play catch up at receiver, or, you know, in these rounds, as long as you got Chase or Jefferson, it's fine. I think it's warranted to a degree. So Sutton and Smith-Schuster are still there. I like these guys the best. I have my pick at either one. Let's look at bye weeks. This guy's a little older, obviously. We're gonna go. This guy's the true number 1. Not as much competition. So we're gonna take Juju. It's tough to pass up on Samaje Perine right there. I will admit it's tough to pass up on him right there. Very, very tough. But we got Juju. I don't mind Juju as a third receiver. Obviously, our really Deontay's a number 2 in my opinion. Dotson's a number 2/3. He's close to being a 2 in my opinion. I think he could be a number 2 actually. And then Juju's probably a solid number 3 receiver. You could argue he could be a number 2, but he's borderline really. I would put him in the 3 category. So really, all of our receivers are kind of moved up a tier as far as where they should be at in terms of receiver 1, 2, or 3. They're moved up from what they would be on maybe a normal team. Like Deontay would be, I would like Deontay to be my number 3 guy. Like, he was my number 3 receiver on the last team. Here, he's my number 1. James Cook. So there goes Freiermuth as well. Tyler Boyd was taken pretty early. That's a reach. But if he likes that guy, you know, I don't know why he doesn't take a running back right there. He's only got Etienne and Taylor. He must feel really good about Etienne and Taylor. We're probably going to go running back here. Somebody take Brian Robinson? Yep, gone. Well, this is coming up fast. It's coming up on us again really, really fast. We're going to go this guy next. I like this guy. Perine's actually still on the board. See if Perine makes it first. We're going to get one of our guys here at running back. Come on, dude, just pick. Ain't got all day. I ain't got all day. I'm glad I'm getting this guy in round 10. That's all I know. I wish I could get him in like round 11, but it's obviously stretching it. If Cook goes to Denver, this is going to suck. It's gonna suck if Cook goes to Denver. If Cook doesn't go to Denver or Zeke doesn't go to Denver, I really like P. Ryan. P. Ryan's gonna be pretty good. He's gonna be pretty decent. I think he's gonna be better than what people think. Very efficient last year. Go look at P. Ryan real quick. I got P. Ryan ranked as my 25th best running back. And he currently is running back. He is currently running back 35 on here, so I got him 10 picks higher than what he is on here. So some people might disagree with that, obviously, but you know, it is what it is. Look, if Javonte Williams misses some time, or if he comes back and then say he misses more time after that because he re-aggravates the knee, and P. Ryan's one of the highest paid backups in the league for a reason, because of that reason. But he's also very effective, very effective. And I know he hasn't seen a ton of work because of being behind Mixon for most of his career, but look, a 38% snap share, 33% opportunity share. That's going to come up with missed time. He had 51 targets on an a little more than 8.5% target share. Caught 38 of those 51 targets. Almost 300 yards receiving. That's pretty. He's a good receiving back. He can catch it out of the backfield, and he's a very efficient runner. He's over a 3 yards created per touch player. So this damn cat. All right, Mingo fell to us. That's pretty crazy that Mingo stayed on the board. We'll take him. We'll happily take him. We'll be right back. Let me go see what this cat's doing. All right, we're back. Cat's weird. I like that Mingo's kind of falling down the board here a little bit. I like this. This is good. 126 overall isn't bad. Obviously, he was going into the 30s, into the really he was going as high as like 180. Does anybody remember that? He was going as high as 180 back when we first started doing these puppies, like the puppy ones or whatever. And obviously me and other people have put videos out about Mingo being good, being a little bit of a sleeper this year. He's still in my sleeper list to a degree. He's not really a sleeper anymore. But, we go to our sleeper list here. You could argue some of these guys aren't sleepers anymore. We go over Mingo, Najee Harris, Lawrence. Those guys are really not sleepers anymore. But these are our sleeper list. This is our short list of sleepers. Obviously, that's obviously changed a little bit. White's... I still think White's a little bit of a sleeper. I think White, you could maybe put Rachaad White in that category of a sleeper in the long term. Maybe I'm a little higher. I was a little higher early on. I'm obviously not as high on him now, especially after seeing Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask throw the ball the other day on Twitter. Yeah, the team's gonna be pretty bad this year. And maybe I'm a little too high. I've obviously dialed it back on him a little bit in some of these drafts. Just kind of going maybe a little more conservative, a little more safer in some of these running back picks down here at the bottom. Obviously, we didn't really do any here because we had to go receiver. But I would say we'll just gotta have to see with White, man. We might have to wait until they get a quarterback next year in 2024. And, you know, and they start maybe rebuilding that franchise a little bit now that Brady's gone. You know, they had their run for those 3 years, and it's over. It's over. So we might just, you know, maybe look. I still think White is a good pass catching back though, and he can be. Gosh, who do we take here? Do we take Moore or do we take Rice? Which one are we taking? I'm gonna take Sky Moore. I would obviously like to have both of them, but I went Mingo instead. That's fine though. I don't mind going Mingo instead. I think Mingo has more potential than both of those guys anyways. I would say Rashee Rice has good potential, but it's tough when he's on that team. If he was on a terrible team that needed him to play right away, he could be much better, obviously. That's not the case with the Chiefs. He might fall to us though here. I don't know if he will or not. So far he's fallen a little bit here. I thought he was going to go in the next 2 or 3 picks. I don't know why that guy's drafting Kyler Murray. I have no idea. I don't even think Kyler plays half the season, to be honest. If I'm being honest, I think he'll be lucky if he plays half the season. So to draft him as your number 2 quarterback behind Burrow, I think that's a little bit of a waste. That's just my opinion, though. You know, if he wants to draft that guy, more power to him, you know. I'm not going to hate on it. Bigsby is still out there. I like Bigsby. Somebody took Reed already. He took Reed. Okay. Not Reed. He took Warren. Reed is still out there too. Matthew Stafford. Laporta. We need another tight end, so we could go get Laporta. We're just going to have to see what happens here. There goes Rice. That's a little bit of a bummer. I would have taken him if he was there. That might be saving me from myself, though, to be honest. All right, we got 2 QBs, 4 running backs, 5 receivers, and a tight end. We need another tight end. Really need another tight end. It's going to be tough. There's a couple of receivers on the board that I kind of want. Good grief. All right, we're on the clock. I haven't really taken this guy too much lately. I'm going to take him again. I took him in a couple of drafts this morning whenever I was at work, so I'm going to take him again. We need another tight end. I know rookie tight ends aren't the greatest in fantasy football for the most part. They put it this way, like when it comes to rookie players, and I really like Laporta, and I really like Kincaid as well. Rookie tight ends, if you look throughout the history, they haven't really been much of a contributor. They haven't been much of a contributor in fantasy football for the most part. So All right, sorry about that. I'm back. I was on the phone with somebody, so I didn't want to be on the phone with him. And obviously, if I had more viewers and stuff, I would not even have taken his call. But I figured I'd take his call. What the heck? We're pretty much towards the end of the stream. We got 3 more picks here, and we're gonna be done. We're probably gonna we're gonna wrap up this draft, and then we're gonna be done for the day. I would try to do tomorrow. I'm gonna start working. Obviously, I'm gonna try to do a live stream at some point, and I'm also going to I'm gonna go over another player to avoid. So I would do that tonight if I didn't have to work, but you know, such is life. But yeah, we'll go over another player tomorrow, player to avoid. We're going to try to focus on players that are inside the top 5 rounds for the most part, top 6, 7 rounds. I have a couple in mind already off the top of my head, so we will be going over another player to avoid tomorrow. I'll try to get the video out like Saturday night or Sunday morning roughly. Maybe I might even put it off till Monday. We'll see, but I will get it done and work on it and get it done by tomorrow. So that is going to be the game plan going forward. So let's go down here. We took Hodgins with the last pick. We took Pickett with the pick before that while I was on the phone. So 6 receivers, 4 backs, 2 tight ends, 3 quarterbacks. We're good at quarterback now. I'm going to keep rolling the dice on this guy if this guy doesn't take him. I haven't really drafted him in the last 2 drafts. I'm going to roll the dice on him again here. I just really want to take Downs. We could maybe get Tank Dell, though, later down the road here. I'm going to take him. Just give us a 5th running back. There's always a possibility with Chase Brown here. I don't feel as great about him playing and getting the... I don't feel as good about him getting the, maybe being the number 1 guy and getting some of the volume that I would like him to get, because they're talking about keeping Mixon. They're talking about Mixon staying in. Obviously, when we kicked off the show, we were talking about the players that were potentially going to get cut either today, tomorrow, maybe even into next week. It's June 2nd now, so these players are eligible to be cut now, or for saving money on the salary cap for these teams. Walking into this year. But you've seen Zach Taylor. He came out basically talking about saying Mixon is their guy. He is their guy at running back. So, obviously I don't feel as great about Chase Brown. This is I think this is a blessing in disguise, though. I really think this is a blessing in disguise. Remember, Mixon's going into year 7, just like Dalvin Cook. This is a blessing in disguise because Chase Brown is now going here into round 16 now. He was starting to creep up a little bit. Obviously, I reached on him a little bit myself during the last few contests or whatever. But now we're getting him down here at 187 where we should be getting him. I will say, which is I think, and it's more so because of this news. And I wouldn't say stay away from him now. I just say now we're getting better value with him. I would still take him as my RB5 in most cases. You can maybe go RB4, take him as your 4th RB if you go super light at RB for that particular draft. But I would like him as my RB5. I don't have a problem with it. I think he's better than Spears. I think he's better than Hubbard. We look at Zach Evans, Kareem Hunt still on the board, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Deuce Vaughn. He's better than all of these guys, in my opinion. He's got better potential because he's on a good offense, and Mixon's getting old. Even if Mixon stays on the Bengals team on their roster as a number 1 RB, he's also got injury risk on top of that. So there's always a chance. And I'll take that chance. All right, we're going to go something a little different. Is Dell still on the board? Or did somebody take him? I don't see him. Am I missing him? I did miss him. There he is. Oh, I almost choked. I think I will still take this next guy though too. We got 3 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, 5 running backs, 7 receivers. We could go another receiver, or we could go another tight end. I think I will go another tight end just to... This cat is being weird. I think I'm going to go another tight end here. Just a little bit of insurance on Kelsey here. I know not much insurance that I can really get off of these guys. Luke Musgrave was just taken, so that kind of sucks. Hoping to go with that guy, but we can go somewhere else. We can go like this guy or this other guy. There goes Likely. Clyde Edwards-Helaire starting to pretty much go in round 18 almost every time. It's a little different from, you know, the last contest, really the last 2 or 3 contests if you factor in the Poodle drafts and all the way back to the Puppy 1 drafts. But that's a little different. We're on the clock. I'm gonna take a chance with this guy. I was thinking about going here. Maybe we won't take it. Who just went? Oh, Hayden Hurst, Jelani Woods. Okay. I was thinking about going Jelani Woods, but we'll take a chance with this guy here. Let's go McBride. I know they're going to be bad, but he's going to be the tight end number 1 pretty much. I think Ertz retires like maybe mid-season, to be honest. I don't know how much. Ertz doesn't really have anything left in the tank, I don't think. He's just been too injury prone. He's getting older now. I think he's about the same age as Kelsey, roughly. He might even be a year younger than Kelsey, but the thing is that not everybody is Kelsey. Well, some of these tight ends, they get to that 33, 34 age. Not even to that age, they are done. Kelsey's a greatest of all time type of tight end. He's basically in the conversation for it. Tony Gonzalez was the same way, who was also a Chiefs player. He played till he was like 37. The only the good ones play till they're like 35 or older. So Ertz isn't really in that category, and you can tell he's pretty much kind of done this year. So give me a McBride. Give me McBride. He's going to be a little bit better in fantasy this year versus Ertz, I think. So he's got the potential too, because they're going to be losing a lot of ball games, throwing the ball a lot. He's going to be inserted into the game. He could get a bunch of garbage fantasy points to a degree. What I would call it basically. But yeah, with that being said, hey, I'm out of here. We're going to catch you guys later. I'll try to be on tomorrow at some point, and we'll go over, some news if some of these guys get cut that we talked about today, if they end up getting picked up by other teams or if they get cut. Either way, doesn't matter if that both happens on the same day tomorrow. We'll talk about that, and then we're going to talk about, we're going to do some more drafts. We'll talk about some other things. If you guys have any questions, just let me know down below in the comments, either during the stream or after the stream. It doesn't matter. I'll get the notification, and just let me know if you guys have any questions about anything, especially if it's like auction oriented. I know, like I said, I haven't gone over the auction stuff too much yet. Don't worry, we are going to dive into it. I know we've been doing a lot of redraft stuff. For the most part, because these are all redrafts, these are not auction leagues. I will go over auction to a degree at some point in time, maybe towards July. So I know we've been kind of putting it off to the side. I know I would like to base this show based off really auction stuff for the most part, more than anything else. But let's get a little closer to the draft and we'll start talking more auction stuff. Right now, though, with the redraft stuff, with the best balls going on, that's kind of why we've been focusing on that a little bit. So with that being said, man, I'm out of here. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to my social medias. Once again, the social medias are right here. You can check me out on any of these other platforms. I also have an Instagram, but I don't really do too much Instagram stuff. I haven't really posted too much on that as well. So your better option to check out content would be TikTok, would be YouTube, also Facebook as well. I need to kind of start getting my stuff to Facebook. I haven't been posting it there. So, like I said, it's tough, man. It's tough with the work schedule that I have. So, I try to be live as much as I can. I try to get videos out as much as I can. It's not easy though, so not easy when you got a full-time job, I will say. So with that being said, man, I will catch you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good one. Smitty just went live talking about Kadarius Toney. We'll probably jump over there and maybe call into his show a little bit, talk to him about that. I don't really necessarily agree with him on that one, to be honest. I don't think Toney wins leagues. I think Toney's going too high in the draft, and I'm a Chiefs fan. Okay, I'm a Chiefs fan, and I'm saying this, and trust me, I've seen plenty of Kadarius Toney. I know exactly who and what Kadarius Toney is. I have a little bit different opinion on it. He's really not going to be winning any leagues at all if they get Hopkins. I can promise you that. We might talk about that tomorrow. So that being said, man, I'm out of here. You guys, like I said, go ahead and check out my content on those other platforms. In the meantime, we will catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace out. I'm out of here.